And here we are. We are live at CP Shuckers on Shore Drive for our playoff wild card parties. Nephew Dave and myself are in the house. We're going to break down everything we can possibly do inside the sports card, Dave, with the NFL wild card games and the full slate that we have through the weekend coming up. Saturday game. Oh, no, I got everything on the loop. Stand by. Global production of the test tape. You remember when we started from part one? We're right back where we started with all the audio issues. Yeah, so we will be sharing a microphone. We had 2 microphones ready to go, but we need some more IT work here on channel 2 apparently. But nonetheless, we're here. I think we got everything loud and clear. We did the test, so we are good to go. Everything that we have going on here. It's a cold day outside. This is just football playoff weather, man. This is what it reminds me of, man. For real. So we'll start everything off. Dave and I will kind of kick everything off here. We have the fan coming in, and then we have guest floor as it's slowly starting to pick up here at CP Shuckers here on Shore Drive in Virginia. This is the round robin. We are live. This is 11:09 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are your investment of the minimum to make the maximum reward. All this weekend, really, 3 days of football and a ton of soccer going on right now. Haven't had time to check any of the scores. We could be winning millions and be running out the door at any minute, people. If we disappear, that's exactly what's happening. Okay. But besides that, we got some winners here in the last few nights for everyone. We got some basketball tickets, some hockey tickets. There's NBA on all day. NBA starting earlier on Saturday. I haven't even looked at any of that. That's a 1 o'clock game. There's soccer galore, and then right there at 4:30. Here we go. San Francisco, Seattle, and then the night game tonight, Jacksonville, and the Chargers. And take it for football. Cheers, everyone. Thank you for tuning in here.
Christmas party. I think we were all bummed about here in the Deep End studio, but I think I can speak for all of us. Very excited to be here, Steve. This is good. It should be a fun show. We're gonna have a good time and have a couple beverages.
You're right, and here we are. It's a complete makeup for us, but to think where this idea kind of came from. All right, let's just kind of set up the podcast. We're gonna have to build the radio studio and dealing with analog and digital and stuff like that, and troubleshooting just everything down the road, adding cameras, adding better software, just a lot of learning really behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
Bad chords or patches, as they would say in the audio industry. Trying to figure those out and making those all right when you have a million different chords. Not a million, but it's enough for, to make me want to pull my hair out, trying to figure it out. And, just even today too, getting microphone 2, trying to set that up. We tested microphone 1. I figured 1 worked, 2 had to work, right? Yeah. So we never did that, but whatever. But nonetheless, David, we're here and we're doing it. So let's get right into it, man. Honestly, let's get into it. The people aren't here to listen to us jibber jabber. And me and Dave will start off. We have the Ant-Man coming up as well. And then guest galore probably after that. Dave will interview some people. I'll interview a couple people. And then who knows our status by 2 o'clock. That might be worth tuning in just to watch us falling over at that point.
Oh, and college basketball day, Steve. Lots of that as well.
Yeah. So if you're a UVA fan and they're a UVA viewing party today at 2 o'clock. Yeah. So today, a UVA viewing party. Who do they play? I'll even know.
Let me look real quick. I'll find that out for you real quick.
The Ant-Man got me a $30 UVA to win it all ticket for Christmas while he was up in Pennsylvania, like a real casino ticket. So I have rooting interest in the Cavaliers for sure. And they're pretty good. They're a decent team. When it all push comes to shove down here in March and April. They call it March Madness, but most of it's in April, actually, at this point. And so when push comes to shove with the Cavaliers, they're going to have enough experience under their belt, I think, to actually give it a good run. So they beat North Carolina the other night as well. So Cavaliers looking good on our end there.
The ESPN app, Steve. I don't know if you have the ESPN app.
You know what?
Sometimes it's really not the greatest.
It tries to take me to commercials, kills other audio when I have that playing, Dave. So, yes, it is somewhat of a nuisance, I would say, when we're trying to figure out just one score. But is it bad that we live in the – see, that's the thing. We don't get the betting lines for UVA or Virginia Tech or anything. So when you play, you're like, wait, they're playing? I mean, you really go by your schedule of what you have with the odds posted. Honestly, the home teams kind of get lost in the mix there. At least they do for me.
And that's usually how I do it.
And I never know when ODU's playing or anything like that either, So, I mean, that's the other thing.
Right.
Yeah, I cranked up our audio all the way. Actually, that might help our calls here a little bit.
There you
go. UVA, we're going to root for them today for sure. And the viewing party, yeah, we'll have to hang out and have some fun with that.
That game is at 2, you said, Steve?
The UVA game is at 2 o'clock, I believe. And I know they beat Carolina the other night. Anyway, let me get you updated on the lines while Dave looks that score up. Because, honestly, I'm not sure where these lines have moved either today. I've been all over the lines here the last couple of days, all week, really. I put a lot of thought into this whole slate. Dave Grande was a very informative interview. He may have swayed me to go a different direction in that. Miami Buffalo game. Okay, so they're going to tailgate like we are for their party. Okay. All right, Dave, we got a plus balance in here. We won something already. I'm not sure what we won, to be honest. What did we win? Oh, how about that? Daniel Pedence with a goal. And it got voided. So I won a 2-game parlay. Broussard not playing. So Daniel Pedence with the 1 goal for the Wolves. And here I am. I got a little winner here to start today. That's nice. Okay, so current lines for the NFL. There's a ton of soccer going on. I don't know the scores. I don't want to update you right now on that. When we take a break, I'll get a list of the scores. If you're out driving around, I'll update you. So let's see here. Our 49ers are 9.5, 42.5. That line is the same. Same line here. San Diego, and the over-under is 47.5. The Chargers -2.5. And that line hasn't moved. I was expecting with the Mike Williams to come through that line would actually drop down. But that has not been the case. Dolphins, they're catching 13.5 at Buffalo tomorrow at 1 o'clock, 43.5. No line movement there. Minnesota -3 over the Giants and 45.5. No movement there. This line dropped. This was a surprise to me. The Bengals were up to 10 And it dropped yesterday when we had Bill Grande on, so we kind of knew about this on Friday. But this was interesting to me. And he likes the Ravens to maybe keep this close, or at least a low-scoring game. But the Bengals are minus 8.5, over under 40.5 there. Dallas Cowboys, 2.5-point favorites on the road at Tampa Bay. Wild card team over division winner, and a team that they lost to before. Dallas is the favorite now, right? So keep all that in mind. 45.5 over under for that game.
Well, and that's probably pretty appropriate. I know they lost that first game to him, Steve, but I don't see him losing to him again. So I think that's probably pretty appropriate, even though the Cowboys are on the road.
Oh, yeah, I like that better.
Yeah, that works.
That sounds a lot better.
Good. All right. So I just taking a quick note there, Steve, about the Cowboys-Bucks game. And I've actually, I have a few friends and people who are actually Cowboys fans, and some of them seem to be a tad bit worried. Not overly worried, but a tad bit, in the sense that they did lose that first game. I'm gonna say right now, I don't see that happening. I understand, Steve, that it's Tom Brady, and you can never count him out. But I think the Cowboys have too much for this Bucks team. So if you're a Cowboys fan, I don't know that I would worry all that much.
Okay, let's go through the whole slate, Dave. While we got you on here, Ant-Man will come in. He'll come up with the props and all the weird stuff like that.
Right.
I'm sure he has a million different angles. He's going to want to jerk off Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, all the superstars. So all that's coming for sure. This looks a lot better.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
And with the microphone.
We can hear better, too.
Yes. It doesn't sound too bad, actually. So, you don't hear it as good as through the headphones. But when you're just talking like you're hearing it loud and clear. These mics are good, man. They pick up a lot. That's the one thing that's good about them. Okay, so the 49ers, 8.5, 42.5. Let's see. What did I tell Del Grande yesterday? So here is my thought on this game. It's a scary game for San Francisco, I think. One, because there's just familiarity there. All right, Pete Carroll knows them. They have a rich playoff history. That's one. Two, Seattle does have some athletes on their team on offense. Their defense has been playing better. Whenever you think you're going to get the worst of Seattle, you get the best.
Right.
Whenever you think you're going to get the best of Seattle, you get mediocre. Maybe not the worst, but you get at least mediocre. So I would say that that being said, with all the points, and even if it's going to be some rain and some wind and stuff like that, then there's a chance that they can kind of keep it close. Now, do I think Seattle can win this game? Yeah, sure, they can probably win it. Brock Purdy, Brock Purdy, 2 interceptions and a block punt, and there you go. Seattle's going to win the game.
And he is a rookie come playoff time.
But yeah, and he is the rookie. But they're going to need a little bit of a perfect storm, no pun intended, with the rain coming in for Seattle to win that game. I think. I don't like them to win straight up, but I don't think the Niners are going to win by 10. I actually took an alt line play with Seattle plus 3. Really? So I'm going to count on the Niners to win this game by a field goal. I really like the Kittle props, but I'm going to have to lay off of that, I think, just because Seattle's kind of dangerous in that area. They might shut San Francisco. Who knows? This could be 10-6 or 10-9 or some kind of weird game like that. And if that's the case, then no one's going to go over on their props. That's just the bottom line. So it's all really the X factor today for Brock Purdy and company. Brock Purdy is going to be the X factor. But that's just kind of the way I feel. I feel like old school NFC West grudge match. I think Seattle can keep it close, not necessarily win the game, but they're getting a lot of points. They're getting really nice on any kind of alt line. I think I got plus 200 at plus 3.5. Plus 2.5 was plus 300. So I'm going to take the extra point. I don't want to take 2.5. I want 3.5. So if there's a plus 100 difference in that, just for that, it's usually not. So when you move a point in Vegas, when you move it off of 7 or 3, or try to move through it, because you can buy half a point, then you get charged double when you go to the 7 or you come off the 7. So the crossover, it really should just be from 3.5 to 2.5, a plus 40 difference, not a plus 100. But this is today's day and age of sports books and how they operate. So that's what you got to deal with the cards that we are dealt. So I think that Seattle can keep it close. Interesting game. I got Tyler Lockett anytime touchdown. I'm going to take a chance on him. They can score in the rain. If it's 14-10, even 17-20 or something like that, I'm going to figure Lockett's going to be one of the touchdown scorers. I'm going to take a chance there. Paying pretty nice at plus 290.
Right.
All right, Dave, your take on this game.
So, yeah, Steve, I was going to ask you because I already have one going that I did. And I've got, was it Kittle? I had Kittle in there.
Keep talking for a minute. I'll Instagram us.
I like his props there. I'm going to pull this up real quick. I have McCaffrey and Kittle. If we're thinking, Steve, maybe like a 23-20 type of game, a weird game like that. These two are just key components for that offense. So I think they play a big role in this game today. So that's why I went with that. Again, that's George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey for a touchdown. I don't see why that wouldn't happen. But so that's what I was gonna get your opinion on there, Steve. Because I was thinking the Seahawks here on the spread at 9.5 at -105. If they're gonna keep it close, which I do kind of agree with you. I can see it happening. I actually really like the value that we get at plus 9.5. Honestly, Steve, I think it's a 49ers by 7 type of game. Maybe Seahawks, they get one more, last chance at it, and they have to score a touchdown tie, but they don't do it. I think that could be a type of scenario where they cover the spread at least. That's one thing that popped out at me. I'm kind of glad that you went over it how you did. I was kind of feeling the same way. I don't know that I'm going to move it down that much, but I probably would move it to, the touchdown.
I think they can catch 7. I think that's fair. Just take a couple points off.
Yeah.
I just think you can shave a little bit off on that one.
Well,
that's all.
And you don't have to come off 9.5 to get plus money out of it. So if you move it just a couple points down, then you're going to get plus money on the alt spread. So maybe we take a chance with the Seahawks just to cover the number. Again, I don't think they win. I think the Niners offense is going to be the factor here. I think they have a little bit more than that Seahawks defense.
Brighton's got 2 goals.
A 1-1.
What? That's a 1
over here in the Everton game. Right.
Leicester losing 1-0. Wolverhampton 1-0 while we're keeping track. But the Brighton 2 goals is going to be very interesting to me. Give me one more Brighton goal, please. I'll say that.
You know how I feel about it.
Nephew Dave thinks Leeds sucks. And they do. They lost, and they're right there at the bottom. They're heading right towards the bottom of the table again, like last year.
They screw me every time. Every time I get a chance to play them. That soccer. Your fault, Steve, by the way. I'm going to put that on you. I'm fading Leeds every time. Put that on.
It's a good time for a plug for the Friday Soccer Paycheck. Every Friday, live at 4 p.m. here on Deep End Broadcasting, deepend757.com, fully updated with live links to all the shows, people.
Steve, I tune into the Friday Paycheck, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, Nephew Dave, you walked right in and said that we called that Man United game this morning 2-1 with Man U, the victory upset 3-1
right.
Dogs upset over Man City. And like we talked about yesterday, Man City just not living up to their expectations of things. They just haven't. Anyway, back to football.
Right.
Yeah, so I think we're both in agreement. Seattle can keep it closer than what the point spread says.
And yeah, absolutely. Real quick, I really think they can cover that 9.5. It's a 7-point game. I think it's a divisional playoff game at that. So while you would think the 49ers might blow them out, you have to remember we're in the playoffs and it's divisional. So I don't think that we see that today. So this 9.5 would be a play that I seriously think about. Maybe the end of the show or 3 o'clock when with the buzz coming on nice and strong and it's time
post your plays or questions or whatever you got to any of the comments wherever we're broadcasted on Twitter, on Facebook, or on the YouTube channel. Facebook is Deep Endable Solutions 757. The Twitter is at Deep End 757, and the YouTube is Deep End 757 Broadcasting. Or just go to deepend757.com to get linked to all that. Text us if you like, 757-354-5517. Lower scoring game in Seattle. That's all I'm thinking. Okay, let's go to the next game. We may have varying differences on this.
I think so, Steve, because I'm gonna probably go the unpopular way here.
I think I'm the unpopular way. I think the popular way is the Jaguars, to be honest.
Oh, see, okay, yeah, I was gonna play the Jags.
Okay, yeah.
I think they can beat LA.
Okay, yeah, of course. Of course they can. They can definitely beat them. They've beaten them before. The Chargers -2.5. Over under is 47.5. The Mike Williams thing scares me. I really was putting my eggs into the basket of the Chargers before the Williams injury. But I'll say this. If you're a historian of the game, then it happens like this. It just does. If you're usually the new guy involved, now you're getting some teams with some spunk, and Jacksonville has been one of the teams in many past years. Right. They made it a couple of AFC championship games, right? So lost to Tennessee and New England in the AFC championship game. They lost to Tennessee 3 times that season, Dave, and lost to nobody else. How crazy is that? Did you know that?
No, I did not.
That one year they went. I'm not sure what year that was. But let's see. Jacksonville, I think this is their first year they made the playoffs. Yeah, they went up to Buffalo and beat Kelly and the Bills. Jim Kelly and the Bills. I remember watching that game. Actually bet on Jacksonville that game. They were catching like 12 or 13 points or whatever it was. So that was fun. And but here they are. They're the new kid on the block. I do like Lawrence. I do like the fact that Peterson's been a good coach. I do like how they can attack down the field, and they do have good players. And they have a better than advertised defense. Plus, they have the best mascot in the league when they were United States Dogs going up his butt track and dancing in front of 5-year-old kids, which is weird. You know, so Jacksonville is good. They are good. But Herbert has been there before, and so has Staley. They got a little bit of a taste of the playoffs. And I think that's going to be the advantage. If Justin Herbert is the transcending quarterback that we all think that he can be, or that he is, or that he's advertised to be.
I think he certainly is, for sure.
He is as touted as they get. Then they're going to be successful tonight, and this is a game that they should win.
Steve, I would have to agree with you. I like the way, Jacksonville has kind of put things together. So that's what's kind of attracted me to that pick. But I wouldn't be shocked if LA won. I mean, they probably should win this game. They're a very talented football team, I think. I think their defense is a little bit better than people give them credit for. And their offense can put up some points. So if LA wins, I'm not saying, Steve, I'm going to be shocked or, I should have took them. Basically what I'm doing is I'm going to take a chance with Jacksonville just because I like the product that they've been putting out lately.
Yep.
And you're getting a plus 120 on the money line, so that's already plus money. Spread 2.5 minus 105. I don't really like that number. I'd leave that alone. I just take them on the money line and pair it with a couple things, and just let it go, Steve. Like I said, I like the product. I think fans of Jacksonville and the team and the organization are pretty happy. I think things are trending in the right direction. So maybe they don't win this game, but I think we could see some points, and I think it's probably a little bit closer than some people might think it would be. So I'm gonna take Jacksonville here in a little bit since it's the night game. I'm not going to play it right now, but I'm going to play it later. And I'm going to take them on the money line and see what happens.
They can win straight up for sure, Dave. Del Grande likes the over. I think this is definitely an over game for sure. He made a good point. They might try to feel each other out, and then the points explode in the second half.
Yeah.
I looked at the second half line. Right now, it is, I think Jacksonville is 10.5, and the Chargers are 12. So over 10.5 for Jacksonville, over 12 for San Diego, or for the Los Angeles Chargers.
I love that.
In the second half, could be great basketball. I don't think you can parlay those together. And if you were, you might as well just take the over and double down, I guess. No, that's why they won't let you parlay that together, is because you would get paid more than if you took just the outright single total of the game. So,
and I'm not usually a singles player. I think that would be a good single bet if you want to know a couple stuff like that.
I think straight up, if you find a couple of just good straight things you like, that's going to be part of the fun. Yeah. So we're going to have to kind of lean that route, I think. I'm going to look for points tonight. I'm going to pray. This is stupid Steve with his all line talking here. All right. I don't have the boo button in front of me. Sorry. But I'm going to say that I've already bet it. I have the Chargers -9.5. Yeah. All right. So we're going to.
Hey, that might not end up being bad, though.
I have two of these teams that people aren't quite expecting to win.
Right.
And this is going to be one of them. The other one's going to be tomorrow. You might be able to figure that out. We're going to get to it shortly. It's not the Dolphins, I'll tell you that.
No, I didn't think it was.
Okay, so let's move to that game. Let's go to the Dolphins and the Bills. Okay, so this is my first thought on this. Del Grande loves the over just because of Tyreek Hill and what he can do. That's my main question. Now, Skylar Thompson, he doesn't need to throw a 30-yard pass to Tyreek Hill. He just needs to give him a little pinch.
Yeah.
And there you go. There's Tyreek Hill running down the field for 65 yards of yak.
I do agree with that. But the way the Dolphins are playing lately,
it's ugly. No.
We're going to play the over here. You're hoping the Bills get posted.
Trust me, I've been. I think that's the. I'll get into that in a minute. I think I've pegged the Dolphins perfectly, to be honest, in the season. Injuries aside, okay, the Bills.
And honestly, sorry,
yeah. It would be a lot funner, more interesting game, at least for me. And I'll tell you what, that wouldn't be the 1 o'clock game. That would probably be the night game. That would be the night game tonight. Look at the rain in San Francisco right now. We are looking at a field that is covered, but keep that in mind. The field's not taking the brunt of the storm right now. So that might be a fast track that it starts. If they pull that tarp off and it's not raining anymore, you're not going to have to worry about a sloppy field.
No.
All right, so keep that in mind, people. Even though it's been raining, that's not going to apply to the field. The field's going to be in good condition.
Do they play on real grass?
Yeah, they got grass. Real grass. Okay, back to the Bills. Two thoughts here. Obviously, there's the nostalgia factor with Damar Hamlin. You had Dawson Knox's brother who was shot. You had 20 people killed in the blizzard who couldn't get out of their cars. You had a mall shooting. The team, because of one of those blizzards, they had 2 of them now, I think, had to go play a game in Detroit. They've had adversity galore. Buffalo has. Now, I've labeled them from the get-go as the bookie slaughter machine, potentially. Right. From the get-go. But they have not been that. They have not been that, and they seem to shoot themselves in the foot a lot. Dave Del Grande doesn't think it's Josh Allen. I can't help to think that he's, I just see balls getting thrown into the back of players' heads, bouncing up in the air, interception. He makes great plays, yes. But I think he has that moment or two where whatever his decision-making is breaking down. And I don't know what else you can kind of blame. They're kind of like Minnesota in the AFC. They're just not winning games like you think that they could win with all the offensive talent that they have. You would think that they would blow teams out. That being said, this has blowout scenario to me written all over it, okay? It just does. Could be the one spot where Buffalo completely lights it up. Miami's going to have to keep up with them point-wise, and I just don't think that they're going to be able to one way or the other. Can Miami get their points? My initial thought was the under, Dave. I like something like 27-6, 31-7 or something like that. I think I even have an alt-line play under 35.5 somewhere. But I also have an alt-line play over as well on another ticket, which is not a bad strategy actually to have. It sounds like you're contradicting yourself, but what you're doing is you're putting two different bets down. One's going to lose, but the odds of the one, if it does hit, it's going to pay so much more money. It doesn't matter. As long as you kind of cover both sides of it, over or under, and you don't fall in the middle, then you're going to have a chance there. And I don't think I would have done that if Bill Grande didn't talk me into it himself, kind of. Just because of the Tyreek Hill factor a little bit and Waddle, those guys do have speed and can score, and they were burning the Buffalo secondary at every chance they got. So that being said, I think this is Buffalo's time to shine. This is their nostalgia game. They can beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins don't deserve to be here right now. I think it's the Steelers, okay, or the team that's kicking here. The coach might not even have a job. Like McDaniel might even be gone if they toss him to the curb or Sean Payton or something like that, So Buffalo, big points to be determined. Miami may get some, they may or not. That's my thought. I'm going to take a shot. I have a prop on the Buffalo defense to get a touchdown today. I'm gonna think that Skyler's going to give them one and get the fire up the crowd there. They got the special teams last week. They got 2. This week they get the defense.
Absolutely.
All right, Dave, your thoughts?
Steve, I don't think it's going to be close at all. I absolutely agree with you. That was a thought of mine. Even before you said it, you beat me to it. But you took the words right out of what I was thinking. Dolphins don't deserve to be there. They finished the year on a terrible run. I don't trust anything they're doing now. Now look, Steve, if Tua was there, I would be singing a little bit different tune. Maybe they don't win this game with Tua, but I think they cover for sure at this big number. With Skyler in at QB, I know he's got Waddle and he's got Hill, but anything this Dolphins team has done, I can't trust it. So I'd even move this spread up. But even at 16.5, if the Bills are going to win by 17 or more, you're only getting, I think it was plus 125. So that's a big number for a small return, I feel like. I'd be more inclined to play an over here and just thinking Buffalo is going to get most of it. Can the Dolphins help us out with 2 touchdowns is, I think, basically all we would need from them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this game is close. This may be an alt spread written all over it. With everything the Bills have gone through, like you said, snow, shooting, DeMar Hamlin, who's doing well. He might actually play football again. Look at that! Look at that! So, I think we can move the alt spread, or we could do a total here. Miami doesn't keep it close at all.
Okay. So I think we're both on the same page for this one. My main question is, can Miami get their points?
That is I think that's the question of this game, Steve.
So Buffalo team total over, whatever that is, would be a good one to take. I'm going to assume that you can look that up, Dave. I'm going to say it's like 27.5.
I would kind of like that.
It might be 28. See what you got on that, David. But whatever the Buffalo team total is, and I wish you have all lines on the team totals. That would stretch that up somewhere around 34.5, to be honest. Some of the books out there may have team total alt lines.
All right, so let's go over this real quick.
Man, it is coming down to San Fran. Look at that. Wow.
Buffalo Bills total points over 28.5. That's plus 100.
So they're going to make you get the half to get over 20.
But here's what I like, Steve. Actually, I'm glad we looked here. I might play this later. Buffalo Bills over 3.5 touchdowns
plus money for 4 touchdowns, I think they do that all day long.
What's the plus on that?
1 plus 110 over 3.5 Buffalo point touchdowns. I love that.
Yeah, that's a good. So you parlay that with your second half Jacksonville or San Diego bet.
I like that.
So all right, let's remember that kind of thing. Remind us all of that up to the fifth. Okay, so Bills blowout and points to be determined by Miami. Okay, Minnesota and the Giants, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Vikings are -3, over under 48.5. I've been on the Vikings all year. I love, I talk about Anthony wanting to jerk off Justin Jefferson. I'm the one who probably wants to jerk him off, to be honest. I've been all over his props. I bet him for 2 touchdowns all the time. And as great of a season as he's had, he's just not finding the end zone. That could change today. Stars tend to shine in the NFL. I have Justin Jefferson and 2 touchdown props already. I'm looking to add him. Brighton got a 3rd goal. How about that?
There you go. You're happy about that.
Hopefully it matches up. We're gonna have to take a look at some scores here when we get to a commercial here. So when you get talking, I'm gonna look at some scores. I might be running out the door, Dave. This might be your company here in a few minutes as I catch a plane to the Turks and Caicos.
Well, don't leave me behind, man.
So, okay, Justin Jefferson. Here, everyone's like the Giants are the darling of everyone. I feel like this week, everyone's saying, the Giants can win this game. They can win this game. I'm here to tell you, I think Minnesota is the undervalued team. Now they've been winning close games, but they have a lot of firepower on offense. They have much more than the Giants do. They just do. If they can just get all on the same page and have a nice big game offensively, the Giants are not going to win this game. In fact, the Vikings can win this game by multiple scores, I believe, which they haven't done all year. But this is it. Playoffs, you come to time, you come to shine. And there's going to be a playoff game too, Dave, where the Giants played the Vikings and the Giants beat them 44-0. Yeah. Don't think that hasn't been mentioned at some point in some meeting when it comes to putting down the throttle on another team. Especially like the Vikings, a team who has to come back against teams like the Colts from 36 points down. That being said, their defense can be suspect at times. The Giants may be able to get their points as well. All right, so I could see this being a higher scoring game. And I'm going to actually look for the Vikings to win by 13.5. So my big alternate line parlay this week, which is scaring me to death, to be honest, is the Chargers -9.5 and the Vikings -12.5, I think is what I took. I gave them the benefit of the doubt to miss the extra point or to kick a couple field goals instead of a touchdown, whatever the case may be there. So I'm going to look for the Vikings to win somewhat convincingly. And if you have tickets on the Giants tomorrow and you're getting ready to eat your Sunday dinner, you're going to be absolutely disgusted and you're going to have to rely on the Bengals to win your money back. That's my prediction. David, your thoughts?
So, Steve, I'm going to absolutely let my dislike for my divisional opponent kind of get the best of me here. I'm going to go 6.5 alt spread for the Vikings at +162. That's probably a play that I'm going to put into a ticket.
Dude, we got some winners. We have some winners for sure.
Oh, boy.
Okay, keep going. I think we do.
The one thing that worries me, is it's a playoff, so you could say that it's all prime time, and that doesn't work very well for Kirk Cousins. That's the only thing that worries me. But I think the Vikings get it done, and I think they do it by a touchdown or more. And I don't mind that 162 number on it. I know, the Giants can score some points, but it's Daniel Jones and Saquon running the ball. There we go, Steve. There we go.
Turks and Caicos. Here we go. We might have another goal by Sunderland or a Swansea, which was a tongue twister on the paycheck, if you heard that. Say Sunderland versus Swansea 10 times faster.
Yeah. Can't do it. But, yeah, I'm gonna look at all the Viking stuff here. just for my dislike for the Giants. I don't think they get it done. Uh, the Vikings 6.5 for me, Steve. 162. I like the number. I'm going to leave it there. Let's go Vikings. Giants, you're going home after one game. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, get us one more goal here. Sorry, Dave. Getting caught up here on some scores.
Oh, you're fine. I just ran out of room there. The over is 48. Maybe we could play that. I'm not 100% sold on the Vikings defense, but I think they could do just enough to win this game today, or not today, Sunday for sure. So I think it's Vikings for me, Steve. I would even play, like I said, I'm going to move the alt line, and that's going to be the play coming from me for sure. It's in Minnesota. Like I mentioned, it's prime time, so we don't love that for Kirk Cousins. But I think the Vikings are clearly the better team here. You know, that's just, I think it's Vikings here. Props. I'm not going to play the over-under just because I'm not as comfortable with it as moving the line to 6.5 for the Vikings, Steve.
I'm going to take Cousins passing props too. He just has a wealth to share, to spread around. So I'm going to look for that. I'm going to look for Jefferson, the touchdowns, and I'm going to look for the Vikings for a big win. We'll sprinkle a little on the
Right.
All right, the night game, David. Cincinnati and the Ravens. See, I already forgot about it. Good chance. Good luck, Ravens. If I can't remember you now, then you're definitely
and Jackson is out, right?
I'm assuming so, but I don't know, man. There might be some tricky stuff kind of going on there, to be honest. We might find out an hour before kickoff. Oh, here we go. Lamar Jackson took a shot. So you might hear something stupid like that, to be honest. So 8.5 is the line now, and the line suggests something like that. So it's a drop from 10 to 8.5. So the line is 8.5. Over under is 40.5. So Grande loves the under, and he loves mixing props as well. I kind of like Dobbins props, rushing yards. I feel like if he's going to get the bulk of the offense, you might as well just take him for some rushing yards. If you can break one or two, you're going to get there with him. Really crazy number I saw, which Phil Grande said never take it. 170 to 1 odds for Dobbins for a receiving and a rushing touchdown.
Okay, it's not a flop.
Crazy numbers too. Rewind real quick. Jefferson for 3 touchdowns at 44 to 1 odds is a play too. But back to this. So I think Dobbins can get a decent amount of the offense for the Ravens. I'm going to look maybe at some props for him. I'm going to look at the mix and rushing props too.
Okay.
This could be the field goal game. It's going to be cold. This could kind of be the old AFC North slugfest type of game, low scoring type of dealio. I don't know. What are you thinking on this?
I'm thinking 20-7 Bengals.
Yeah, I think all that's fair.
If Lamar Jackson, Steve, and I'm convinced, and there's probably not a lot you could say, maybe a little bit you could say, but not a lot that would convince me otherwise about this Ravens team. Without Lamar Jackson, they struggle to put any kind of points on the board. And with Cincinnati, their defense is playing better. They had a rough start to the season. They picked it up. I moved this to 13.5 Bengals. There's just no way without Lamar Jackson the Ravens can hang in this game. I just don't see it happening.
So when it's a low scoring game, I think you run out of things to talk about on my end. So yeah, I'm going to look at the running backs. And if I'm having a good weekend by that point,
it's a 2-score game, 13.5 for the Bengals.
And you're going to get good money out of it at 8.5.
Right. All right. Tampa Bay and Dallas. Dallas minus 2.5 over under 45.5. Remember, this is a game that, although it was week 1, Tampa Bay did beat Dallas, and Dak Prescott was hurt that game, right? So he did go out. Dallas never got more than a field goal. week one you throw that out anyway. It's kind of a weird. But here you are. Dallas is a favorite at a divisional winner. I find that a little odd. I feel like this week when I've been listening to everything, everyone's all over the Buccaneer bandwagon for this. Now, Dave, you've been the biggest Buccaneer hater in the universe. You've been you've been on them all year, or against them, in a good way. All right, so you've profited off of that. You know Dallas well because they're in Washington's division. So I think you're going to be the expert on this game. To be honest, what do you see here?
Steve, you're right. I haven't seen anything out of Tampa Bay that makes me feel good about it. It's not a strong division. They didn't play well. Look, Steve, it really pains me to say this, but we have this spread for the Cowboys at 2.5. I think you move it to at least 6.5, maybe even 9.5 if you want to get a good payout. I don't see Tampa Bay beating the Cowboys. I know they're at home, but look, you watch sports just as much as I do. Have you seen anything out of any Tampa Bay game that you like that says they can go, not go, they can beat this Cowboys team that comes in with a pretty stout defense and we know they can score points? I don't see how they get it done. Over 45.5, that might be an enticing play. But with the Dallas defense, I don't really like that. My best play from this, let's just see what that is for on Monday night. I want to see what this is.
I took a last-second cash out in the 95th minute. I was getting offered $300 on this bet. I need one more goal. Now, they score another goal that's going to cost me $3,700 to win. But I'm going to take the sure thing 300 right here.
I think you made the right choice.
All right, cool.
So,
we're winners today. We're having a winning weekend. Here we go, Dave. We're doing live broadcasts or we're winning bets.
Starting off very well.
Validity to the show.
Look at this, Steve. Oh, I love it. Go ahead and play this right now. Parlay single. I don't care what you do with it. Dallas Cowboys 13.5 plus 374. Are you kidding me? They can't beat a terrible Buccaneers team by 10 points.
So
374.
Here's my initial thoughts, Dave. I'm kind of jumping on your.
They ought to cream them. 24 to 6.
I think Dallas can cream them. That's the unpopular view this week. Everyone thinks a bad game against Washington last week is going to kind of, and against Tennessee, they didn't live up to that. That's what I'm saying. And if they can't protect Brady, Micah Parsons going to eat his lunch all day. And I could see the Cowboys getting more touchdowns from the Buccaneers at the end of the day, and maybe, like you said, a couple more. And I could see Dallas actually winning this game by 10 points. 17. But this is playoff Brady, and I mean, is this his last stand? I mean, but he's just older, and he's just progressed so much.
Well, yeah, he's definitely not who he was.
I mean, him and Rodgers both had terrible seasons. Yeah. So, when it comes to Brady, I mean, if you're gonna tell me I'm gonna have to put, it all on the line Monday night, one way or the other, then I'm gonna trust. It's painful to say this, the Cowboys over Tampa Bay.
Oh, Steve, I feel like I'm about to catch on fire or something saying this. It burns me to say this, but 3 plus 374 at 9.5 for the Cowboys. You just can't pass that number up. You can't do it.
That's gonna be a play for me. Certainly, I'm gonna take a shot on that because I love that number so much. And I think Dallas, this is my wheelhouse here for my division. NFC. The Cowboys get it done. If you're a Cowboys fan, I know it's playoffs. Anything can happen. Get in. We've seen through all the sports what can happen in the playoffs. But I really wouldn't feel too bad if you're a Cowboys fan going into this game versus Tampa. You're clearly the superior team. I see the Cowboys all day. Oh God, that just sounds wrong. That doesn't even sound good.
I'm going to have to.
I will never live my lifetime say that again.
So
let's put that on.
I'm going to mark this on the tape. Whatever, it's 50 minutes, 47 seconds here into the broadcast, and I'll make sure that I record this in the promo, David, for future shows. If you want me to do a real promo, how about what the fuck is going on Monday night, 6 p.m. live, replay to follow. You want to catch it live because we talk about the game starting right at 7. So get us live, or if you want to see how valid we are, listen to us after the fact. And we do. You can always fast forward to the end if you want to get the features or anything like that.
The late games.
Yeah. It's always worth a little bit of it. Watch the first games, listen, and then get the late game info as well. The late games have taught me. They've been doing me well too. I mean, it doesn't matter. I pick San Jose over goals, they get it. I pick Arizona over goals, they get it. I pick Vegas over goals, they get it. I pick Edmonton over goals. They're a little bit more wishy-washy in that regard. But the paycheck has done well for me. I'll definitely say that. And if I'm not in studio, I'm not off doing. I'm not running a muck around town like Nephew Dave says. I'm actually doing. Trying to get the little birdie to fly off out of the nest by himself and hang it.
You said you were running air.
Yeah, right. Which sounds even sketchier. Let's be honest. So catch Nephew Dave here on the network, which is on the YouTube, Deep End 757 Broadcasting. Everything is linked to the website, the shows, deepend757.com. Just like a swimming pool. Deep End, DEEPEND 757.com. Links to all the content. What the fuck is going on, round robins, which round robin goes away after the Super Bowl for a little while, and season 1 will be in the books. But other programming is coming up.
Maybe we do a draft.
Oh yeah, we can definitely do a draft. Oh yeah, there'll be a draft for round robin. That'll be fun to do. We actually probably do it during the draft. Actually,
Cover it live.
We could cover it live and F around and talk about stuff. So keep in tune to that. We do have one comment here. Let's see. Yes, it is. Helm's tuning in. Is that old man Tom in the background? LOL. Mike? No, it is. It's another one. Okay. So, Dave, let's go ahead and take a break. I don't know. Do you want to get Bill on the air? Yeah, man's coming sometime soon. Do you want to go ahead and interview Bill? See what he has to say about the game?
How long is it?
I can run these commercials as long as you like. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. We are at CP Shuckers Shore Drive location, 3232 Shore Drive. We're winning bets. Last night we're winning bets already today in soccer. We're going to try to win a lot of money here in football. Investing the minimum to make the maximum. This is here. Let's get it up here. We'll go ahead and take a commercial break. We'll cue up music here. Look at this, Dave. I got everything labeled. Outro number 1. So we'll go ahead and let that rip. I can hear it through the headphones, so we know everything is working on that end. All right, sounds good. This is the Round Robin on the Deep End Broadcasting Network, live at CP Shuckers Shore Drive, Virginia Beach, Virginia, United States of America. We'll be right back.
Hey, does your home have algae or stains on the siding? Is there grime built up on your deck or brick patio? Coastal Pressure Washing Services has a warranty of professional services. From pressure washing to window cleaning to deck and fence staining, as well as dryer vent cleaning, you got it all. Call Coastal Pressure Washing at area code 757 439-9810 or visit our website at coastalpressurewashing.net. Again, call Coastal Pressure Washing at area code 757-439-9810 or visit our website at coastalpressurewashing.net.
Do you want to advertise with Deep End Broadcasting? Send us an email at deepend757@yahoo.com. That's deepend757@yahoo.com.
Control your alcohol. Don't fight. Don't drink and drive. Your one punch could kill someone. It happens. If you're behind the wheel, you may think you are fine, but then the other driver is under the influence of texting, and then you are done. Control your alcohol.
Know your gambling limits. Don't ever bet what you can't cover. Wagering on sports is only fun when you do it the right way. Not every bet will win. When you get on a bad run, know it and avoid trouble. Know your gambling limits.
Family owned and operated, CP Shuckers Cafe and Raw Bar specializes in delicious cuisine, refreshing drinks, and a laid-back atmosphere. We opened our doors in 1995 and have enjoyed being a place to either relax or celebrate ever since. Whether you are in the mood to indulge in a great meal with your friends and family or watch the game, we promise that our inventive menu, attentive service, and skilled bartenders will have you truly satisfied. Both of our locations have spacious outdoor patios for enjoying the breeze and catching a little sun. Our friendly staff at CP Shuckers will make your next dining experience a pleasant one by delivering personal care. We are open until 2 a.m. Full menu will be served until 10 p.m. and late night limited menu until 1 a.m. For larger parties, please give the location of choice a call. Pacific Avenue, 757-425-8676 or Shore Drive, 757-412-2929. More information at cpshuckers.com. Thank you for your continued support and have a shuckin' good time. I said I want to change your mind. I said I want to blow your mind. But if there was really rap, let's go and get her. If there was really what I want, a chance I'm missing. My friend, you won't have his life. I am something better. Text the round robin your questions, comments, wagers, give us a reason, sleeper fantasy play, your best alternative line, whatever you have. Text the round robin 757-354-5517. Tired of your swimming pool's diatomaceous earth pool filter? The constant cleaning, green pool, cloudy water? I thought this was supposed to be clean. Trust your swimming pool's water quality with a custom sand filter install. A clean, easy solution for your swimming pool operations. Contact Dependable Solutions at 757-354-5517. Do you want to advertise with Deep End Broadcasting? Send us an email at deepend757@yahoo.com. That's deepend757@yahoo.com.
Hey, does your home have algae or stains on the siding? Is there grime built up on your deck or brick patio? Coastal Pressure Washing Services has a warranty of professional services. From pressure washing to window cleaning to deck and fence staining, as well as dryer vent cleaning, you got it all. Call Coastal Pressure Washing at area code 757-439-9810 or visit our website at coastalpressurewashing.net. Again, call Coastal Pressure Washing at area code 757-439-9810 or visit our website at coastalpressurewashing.net.
Drown our sorrow and fuel our Shuckers. That's the name of Maggie May. When we see her, what do we say? Maggie May, bring us another beer, we need another beer.
All right, we got live CP Shuckers on the drive. This is our wild card into the season. Well, we still have a few more weeks, but this is the to celebrate the successful regular season for the first time that we've done this show and have had this network. So we are in the playoffs, so to speak. The fans are starting to file in to CP Shuckers as we speak. And we got a good, hey, we got everyone showing up now. All right, so the party is on. I am Stephen Murray. This is the round robin. It is 12:07 Eastern Standard Time in the United States of America, broadcasting live from the beautiful coastline of Virginia Beach, Virginia. It is wild card weekend, and there's no shortage of gambling and football action. Nephew Dave, I need to get another drink. I need to count my bets that we won on soccer.
You might be gone for a couple hours.
We've had a good morning at soccer, so we're on fire. Listen to the Friday Soccer Paycheck for more of that. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that we talked about kind of happening out there, Dave. Much like what the puck is going on, I think we're really in tune. Much not like the round robin of recent weeks. Our picks are at least good for soccer and for basketball. Do you got someone you want to bring in here yourself here?
Yeah, we'll take the Steelers fan. We're going.
We get Brody. Oh yeah, so we'll get Mr. Brody on. I'm interested to hear his take on why the Steelers should be playing this week in Miami as well. You can sit here. You don't need to wear this if you don't want to, but if you want to hear it, go for it. Hey, what's up, dude? Good to see you, man.
All right, Mr. Brody, welcome on.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Here on the Round Robin, we're live at CP's. So let's start off. We were talking about this earlier, the game between the Dolphins and the Bills, and me and Steve both agreed the Dolphins they don't belong there. We know it should be the Steelers. So I'm going to give you the mic. I'm very interested to I know you're not a big sports gambler, but you are a football guy. You do watch football. You know football. So you don't have to be a gambler to talk with us. That's for sure.
Sure.
So I want to give you the mic, give you a quick couple minutes to break down the Steelers season. It wasn't a total loss. So go ahead and tell us what you think, and then we'll get your take on that game with the Dolphins.
Okay. Yeah. So, as a Steelers fan, obviously the beginning of the season, it was great to watch. Watch them beat the Bengals in the first game. Unfortunately, it was such a drag-out, knockdown battle. We lost Watt.
Had some injuries.
Had some other injuries that really, really kind of stunted the beginning of our season. Mitch Trubisky just did not carry the weight he needed to carry, subbing in as QB1 for the first 5-6 weeks.
Yeah.
And obviously, in the absence of TJ Watt, unfortunately, our defense wasn't what it normally is, wasn't what it can be. TJ Watt comes back. We bring Kenny Pickett back in as QB1. Starts off a little shaky, but, over a few games, we saw Kenny Pickett really improve. We saw him break more tackles, run away from more pressure, and still deliver stuff downfield, still make good plays. And as a Steelers fan, as a football fan, that makes me hopeful that he will be our future QB1. He has shown in the latter half of the 2022 season that he has the capacity to grow. He has the capacity to learn, and he is a versatile young man. I mean, I can't remember since the younger days of Roethlisberger the last time I've seen so many successful quarterback sneaks out of one of our quarterbacks.
Right.
And Pickett loves it, man. We get in on a third and short, or even a fourth and inches. And he'll take that from the center and just dive forward with it, and it's normally successful. So it's good to see him as a multifaceted quarterback so early on in his career. The The Steelers' biggest hang-up, in my opinion, as a fan, is going to be coaching staff, more specifically offensive coordinator. Matt Canada.
Yeah, you've been pretty hard on him all year.
And
obviously we talk a lot and we watch games together. So I don't mean to cut you off, but it's funny because I knew you were going to bring that up and you were going to talk about that because you have been hard on him all year, and rightfully so. So what do you think? Obviously that's a big thing that needs to happen for them.
Well, and in my opinion, obviously I'm just a fan. I'm not even a sports gambler, so I don't study tape. I don't know that much about the game. But when someone like me can predict what we're going to do on first, second, and third down 90% of the time, you can rest assured that the opposing team's defense has studied that tape and knows what they're going to do better than I do.
Right.
And Canada seems to like that short screen pass, little dumps offs behind the line of scrimmage, which is fine to try on first, maybe even second. But I mean, when we're 3rd and 8 and you're throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage, like, bro, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Like, we need forward motion. Try to pass past where we need to be. Even if we drop it, it's the effort, you know?
I couldn't agree more with you. And it burns me up. I mean, you see a lot of teams doing that. We've watched some games together, and I've seen that a lot from the Steelers. My Skins did that a lot, too. A lot of other teams seem to, a screenplay we've seen when it works, it's beautiful.
A screenplay is useful when your opposition isn't expecting it because you dump it off quick. You got a guy that's open in the backfield, and he just takes off with it. But when a screenplay becomes something that's expected of you, every defense in the NFL knows how to stuff that.
You're losing yards.
A high school football team could stuff that properly if they know it's coming.
Right.
It's not a play you can really gain ground on.
Right.
And that's our problem. And the past few weeks we've seen a little bit more deep action for passing. Najee Harris has really picked up his run game. So is Warren and really even Derek Watt. Even Derek Watt had a touchdown in the last game versus the Browns. So I'm hopeful to see a little bit of improvement in our run game. I believe it takes pressure off our receivers to where defense isn't going to know that we're always looking for receivers. They know, hey, Najee might rip off 15 yards if it's passed to him.
Right.
So watch for that too. So it's good to see the improvement on that realm. Clearly Matt Canada still makes the calls. If he's able to kind of get out of his own wheelhouse and start producing plays that, get us somewhere, then great. But if not, I think he has to go in the 2023 season. I think he's been the biggest detriment to our team this season for sure. It's not like we don't have talent, George Pickens.
Oh, you absolutely do.
George Pickens is a new guy, but I mean, you've seen the monstrous catches he makes. The just the crazy reaches and dives he can perform to make a catch. Deontay Johnson's been dropping a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, he is still a threat.
He's still a good receiver.
Freiermuth's a great tight end.
I love him. I had him on my fantasy team.
Freiermuth reminds me just the slightest of Heath Miller back in the day.
Yes.
He's that rough and tumble guy that will take the ball on a quick slant and do something.
Right.
So
what you need.
It's not like we don't have the offensive weapons. It's not like Kenny Pickett isn't a talented young quarterback who's willing to learn and grow. The only solution is either fix our play calling or fix our offensive coaching staff.
Right. I think, I'd have to agree with you. The Skins just did it. They got rid of their offensive coordinator. I think the Pittsburgh probably follows suit. It's probably a long time coming. Very predictable. So I think there's some things that Pittsburgh can be excited about. And look, I know you didn't make the playoffs. You were right there. Y'all did everything you needed to do in a sense in the last game to have that chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we all know that the Jets couldn't help you out. But in the same time, it wasn't a losing season.
No, we still performed over 500, which makes it an incredible streak for Mike Tomlin. He's not my favorite head coach we've ever had, but
Right.
I mean, the record speaks for itself. There, we haven't had a losing season in Lord knows how long now. The only thing that slightly scares me, and I know I've advocated for getting rid of Matt Canada for 2 seasons now because I think he was worthless for Notre Dame, and I think he's worthless for us. But it's a devil situation. You know, we haven't had a good offensive coordinator. I can't even remember the last time. Bruce Arians, maybe.
And that's going back a little bit of ways.
That's going back. We had Todd Haley for years before Matt Canada, and Todd Haley was a garbage can too.
Yeah,
it just wasn't good.
I don't think he was. It just wasn't good for that guy. But I don't think he was.
Not as bad as Canada.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. So, I mean, I think there's some optimism, though, and I always like Najee. I'm a big college football guy.
Sure.
So watching him come out of Penn State, I mean, he was just a monster at Penn State.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think everybody, and you could probably help me out with this, was probably excited in Pittsburgh when they picked him up from the draft.
Absolutely.
I thought it was a great pick for the Steelers. A little bit of a history of you guys having good running backs.
Yeah.
Which I think at the time when you drafted him, the reason I think it was a good pick is because y'all needed that. Before Najee, I think you guys were kind of lacking trying to find a running back.
Well, between Le'Veon Bell's departure and constant injury, yeah,
exactly.
we didn't have a super proficient running back.
Right.
We have had good running backs in the past. Le'Veon Bell was great for us. Rashard Mendenhall was great for the little bit of time he was there for us.
Right.
We get this talent. That actually brings me to my next facet where the Steelers can improve our offense. We have to work on our offensive line. We can have Kenny Pickett growing as a quarterback all we want, but if we can't stop him from getting clobbered,
then it just does no good.
And the same rings true for the run game, you know? I mean, again, Le'Veon Bell was a super talented runner.
Yes.
But he was hurt a lot, and he was hurt a lot because there was never an avenue for him to break through. The offensive line just wasn't doing what they needed to do for him, so every now and again he would rip off a big run because he saw the path to take and he could go, but I mean, truth be told, we haven't been the best at creating a path for the run.
Right, and it starts up front.
That stems with the offensive line.
All right, so a couple of things the Steelers can work on for sure. So that's, that is great insight for us here at the Round Robin, Steelers fan. Steve, he's actually been a big backer of your guys', especially as far as gambling goes. He never quit on you guys. So I think it's helped him out a little bit. Not everybody's going to – and that's just gambling. Not everybody comes through for you all the time.
Yeah.
But Uncle Steve, he never gave up on you. He was actually a pretty big supporter of you guys this year. So that's good. So let me get your take on this then. See if you got anything for us. And I know it's going to eat you up a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
This thing is being slow. We got the connection. So the game I want to talk to you a little bit about, and I'm sure you know what it is. And I think had the Steelers been here, this would have been a much better game and probably would have been the night game of this evening, I think. Miami Dolphins, which should have been your spot.
Yeah, for sure.
At the Buffalo Bills. So I know, like I said, like we've said here already, you're not a huge gambler, but you are a football guy.
Sure.
So that helps. So and you're an AFC guy because that's your league.
Yes, sir.
What are your takes on this Dolphins-Bills game? We talked about it a little bit. I want to see if your ideas are kind of along the same as ours.
I think it's a terrible mismatch. I think unfortunately for the Miami Dolphins, in the absence of Tua Tagovailoa, they're just not performing.
No.
They're just not. And, it was cool to see them get a little traction with him as a quarterback. But unfortunately, with him out, they have done nothing.
No.
So, and especially at the Bills, Josh Allen and the Bills are gonna just they're gonna throttle Miami. There's no two ways about that.
Right.
That's a game where you can't imagine the players for Miami are walking in there thinking, oh yeah, we're gonna beat the Bills at home.
They're probably not
It's
feeling
not-
good
it's
about that.
Not to mention, it's Miami.
But they do have weapons.
They don't do well when they play in the cold.
This is true, and they are heading to a very cold.
They are heading
Buffalo.
to one of the coldest stadium destinations in the country right now, and they don't perform well statistically under 40 degrees.
Well, you know what? You make a really good point there, Brody. Coming from Miami, Florida, where I'm sure right now it's much different than it is here. It's probably beautiful.
Got to be at least 70 degrees.
Here, it's nice and ugly, if we will. It's cold. It's windy. The sun is not out. I don't think it's coming out. But I bet you if you're in Miami, you're sitting on the beach having a cocktail right about now.
Couldn't imagine.
Or maybe you're out on the boat doing a little fishing.
Couldn't imagine you wouldn't be.
Exactly. So it's nice in Miami. You're going up to Buffalo. You're not having cocktails probably out in the open unless you maybe live there and are used to it.
No.
Miami is not used to it.
No, and that's going to be, in my opinion, their biggest problem. These boys coming up from Miami play in the warmest climate in the United States consistently.
Right.
Even their divisionals don't typically take them anywhere too cold. But when it does, there is a clear mark for underperformance.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's what we're going to see plague the Dolphins today. I think you're going to see lots of drop passes. I just don't think
their hands are cold.
Their hands are cold. Air pressure in the balls is always going to be a little less than what it should be when it's that cold. I think you're going to see them struggle a lot with the temperature, and not just with the fact that they're playing the Bills.
Oh, right, exactly. So let me ask you this. Again, just to put it out there for everybody listening and or watching, you're more of a football guy. You don't worry about the gambling aspect. But let's get into that just a little bit. We won't dive into a whole lot of props and all that. We'll just go off of what I have right here, which is the very basics. Let's go over the spread real quick. The spread right now is at 13.5, minus 13.5 for the Bills. What do you think about that number? Do you think you move that? Can you do an alternate and move it up? Do the Bills really kill them by that much? And if so, if you were to be doing, if you were to be gambling, what is a number that you would feel comfortable with?
Funny enough, man, I think that number is appropriate.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a very one-sided football game. The Bills are performing at the highest level right now. They're playing at home. They're playing in climate they're used to, and they're playing the Miami Dolphins without Tua.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be close. I think that's an appropriate number.
Do you move it at all, or do you take it just how it is?
I'd probably take it how it is.
Okay.
There's always the chance that Buffalo beats them even worse somehow. But
what about 16.5? So 17 or more.
Man,
is that feasible? Because all we know, and watching the AFC, that while Buffalo is a good football team and a serious contender, they do have the tendency to step on their own feet.
They do, and possible, yes. 16.5 is possible. Feasible,
you like it where it is.
I like it where it is. I think Buffalo definitely wins by 2 scores, at least.
Right.
16.5 is a stretch. I do think it's very possible, but if I was a betting man, I think betting on that spread might be a little
bit much,
a little too skewed.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that's something that we talked about, Brody, to open up the show as we were going down the slate. We talked about this game, and I had mentioned moving it to 16.5, but no further.
Definitely no further. 16.5.
Because whether they win by 16 or 17 or 24, you still cover
You
that.
still hit.
But if you were to go, let's say, super blowout by 23.5, so you think the Bills blow them out 24 or more points. If they get to that 16.5 mark, but they don't get to that, you lose.
You know, I almost want to change my answer.
You can do that on this show. We do it all the time.
If you look at the Miami Jets game, Miami did not perform well. Anybody but the Jets would have beat them in that game.
Absolutely. There's no question.
And if Miami puts up that kind of performance against Buffalo, whether or not Buffalo wants to trip over its own feet or not, it's still going to be more than a 2-score game.
Right.
So, you know,
16.5
could be feasible. It's something I believe is absolutely in the realm of possibility.
And you're going to get plus money out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now it's at minus 115.
I mean, what was the final score in the Miami Jets game? It was what,
low.
6-3 or something like that?
9-6.
9-6. Okay, perfect.
Low.
So if you can't put up more than 9, which I believe was 3 field goals.
Yeah, nobody scored a touchdown.
Nobody scored a touchdown. If you can't put up more than 9 against the Jets,
good luck to you.
I mean, good luck to you versus the Bills in Buffalo
Right.
in the cold. They're going to get throttled. I don't see anything else happening there.
You know what? I'd have to agree with you. So let's go over another little point here, which actually you make a pretty good point for what we want to cover next. The total is at 43.5. Now, I know. We talked a little bit about this. So, So you play the under, obviously, from what you were thinking.
I think you play the under on that, but if it happens to be over, man, the Bills are going to have a hell of a game.
So if we're going to play the under, the Dolphins can't score more than 6 to 9 points like they did against the Jets. What number do you like moving it to? All right, we're going to move it down. Obviously, we're thinking about moving it down because we would need the Bills to get most of the points for us. We understand that
clearly.
And I asked Steve earlier, could the Dolphins help us out with 2 touchdowns?
Probably not.
Probably not.
They couldn't put up 1 touchdown against the Jets, and let me tell you, the Bills' defense is a whole hell of a lot better than the Jets are. You know, I do think you move the number down. And the only reason I think you move the number down is not the Bills' inability to put up that number on the Jets, but or on the Dolphins, excuse me. Not the Bills' inability to put up that number on the Dolphins, but I think what you're going to see happen, and I hate talking about it before a game because historically, anytime I think anything's going to happen, the opposite tends to happen. But this is a pretty sure thing in my mind. I think what you're going to see happen, I think you're going to see Miami put up no more than 9. I think you're pretty close on that. If I had to tell you what I really think, I think 6. I think Miami makes 2 field goals. I don't, barring obviously, a miracle, I don't think they put up a touchdown. So I think you're going to see the Bills take an early and comfortable lead and let off the throttle.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to pile drive them into the ground because I think they understand they're going to beat Miami pretty handily. They're going to take their big lead. And then they're going to cruise into the end so they don't hurt their starters, so they're fresh and prepped for the next more important playoff game.
Right. Okay, so
I would move the number down. You said what, 43?
It's at 43.5 now.
I mean, I'd probably...
You go into the 30s?
I go into the 30s. I say high 30s, probably 35 and a half, 36. But I don't think more than that. I don't think they're going I don't think they're going to play the type of game that would make an example of Miami. I think they're going to take their comfortable lead and let off the gas.
Okay. You know what? I really like that play, Brody. That's it brings a different insight to some things that we talked about earlier. We were thinking about a possible over. Obviously, that's going to be kind of difficult for the Dolphins without Tua.
Sure.
But we talked about, maybe going over. But you bring some really good insight to maybe bring that back down. So let's see what your 35 is at. That's the spread. We want the total.
Sure.
So if we're going to go under 35, you're getting plus 275 for that. I love that number. Maybe the Bills, it's 28-6 would be a good number for us.
And I could see that. I could see 28-6. I could see really even, 30-6 or 33-3. But
Right.
I think we stay under 36. I like the 28-6 number. I feel like that if we're at a point in the game where the score is that,
Right.
the coaching staff for the Bills is going to make the decision. They're going to say, hey, we want to save our guys. There are more important games coming up.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no need to hammer the nail into the coffin with a sledgehammer.
Right. And we peg Buffalo as being a serious contender, being there for the AFC Championship.
I like Buffalo for the AFC Championship.
Excellent.
I don't think there's anybody better in the AFC right now.
Excellent. Well, you know what? That is really good coverage.
Give me the old turnaround wave.
Oh, let's see. 2 minutes. We've got some really good coverage. All right, so we got 2 minutes. I want to get your take on this game because this comes.
What do you think you have 2 minutes? You can go as much as you want, but when you think you have 2 minutes.
Okay. Well, that's probably about right. So this is. I want to get your take before we take another break. Give the reins back to Uncle Steve here. And this is a Sunday night, 8:15 p.m. game, and this comes right smack in your wheelhouse. You should be able to give us some really good insights to this. We're going to cover the Baltimore Ravens going in to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. You are, it's the AFC North.
Yeah.
That's your division. You're all over this. You know these teams, just like I know the NFC East.
Yep.
Just like the Patriots division for the AFC East.
Sure.
For Steve, this is your wheelhouse, so I'm really interested to get your take. The spread is minus 8.5 for the Cincinnati Bengals. What do you think of this here?
That's once again probably pretty appropriate. I think Baltimore, in the absence of Lamar Jackson, just isn't the Baltimore that Baltimore's fans know and love.
And we've seen them really struggle without Lamar.
Not that their QB2 is a bad backup, but clearly he's not Jackson.
That's what he is.
He just isn't.
He's a backup.
Meanwhile, in Cincinnati, you have Joe Burrow. You've got the offensive weapons. You've got a stout defense. You've got a team that's going to be playing to try to make it to the AFC Championship.
Oh, absolutely. And do we think that Cincinnati can be there for that?
I believe so.
I think they can.
I believe they can. I think it's definitely going to be Cincinnati's game. 8.5 is probably pretty close. It's not going to be a blowout. Even without Jackson, the Ravens are still a tough team.
Okay, interesting.
The Steelers aren't in their best of offensive shape, and we beat the Ravens in our second to last game of the season, mainly off of our defense.
Right.
Because the Ravens' defense is still stout. We didn't put up a lot of points, but neither did they. I think you're going to see a little bit more scoring ability come out of the Bengals. Joe Burrow's young. He's hungry. He's into the big game. He wants it again.
And we know he's good.
The kid's a stud. He really is.
He really is.
I hate to give props to divisional rivals, but the kid's a stud.
I had to do it for Dallas earlier, Brody. I know your pain.
And truth be told, if it's got to be the Bengals or the Ravens, I'd rather see the Bengals. I'm a Steelers fan. There's not a thing on this planet that can make me root for the Ravens. I promise you this.
You know what? I could not understand that more. So when he walks in, we'll give him the 2-minute warning. And we're going to do the same thing that we did for the Miami game. And so, because I want to get your take, like I said, this is your wheelhouse. You're knowledgeable in this division. So you said that this spread 8.5 is appropriate. Do you move it at all? Do you think the Bengals?
Well, what's the overall?
So the over under is 40.5.
40
So
and a half.
let's start there. We'll come back to the spread.
I think that moves down.
You move that down.
I'd move that down.
Okay.
I don't
Let's
think
check that out.
I don't think it's going to be a necessarily high scoring game. I wouldn't be surprised if it was similar to the ending score of the Steelers Ravens. If it wasn't 16-13 or like 17-14 or something like that. Both teams are capable. Both teams have a stout defense. The Bengals obviously have a better offense, and that's what's going to be that's going to be what wins it for them. But I think both teams have a stout enough defense to where we don't break 40 points.
Okay. All right. So
I think we're going to see an end score with both teams in the teens, maybe the Bengals in the low 20s and the Ravens in the early to mid-teens somewhere.
maybe like a 20-13 or a 24-13.
I could see something like that for sure. I believe, and again, they're divisional rivals as well. They play each other tough. Every team in the AFC North plays each other tough. I can think of of 10 games in the past 10 seasons where the Steelers were lightning in a bottle and we roll into the nothing Browns and the Browns beat us. And it's because our division plays each other tough.
And those things can always happen.
And it's not just limited to the Browns stepping up when the Browns need to step up. I mean, the Steelers have been garbage for a season or two here and there and stepped up and beat the juggernaut Ravens or whatever it is. So the AFC North is a unique division in where we all play each other to just an absolute street fight. It's a brawl every time. It's never over until the clock runs out.
That's absolutely right.
And I think we're going to see that with the Bengals and Ravens. I think it'll be a lower scoring game. It'll be exciting.
All right. So with that being said, what did we say? I think we said it was at 40.5, right?
I think we relegate that.
What's your number?
At risk of being kind of in the same over-under as we were last time, I think like 35, 36.
All right, so let's play the 35.5. We'll give them that extra point, plus 175. So you're getting pretty decent plus money out of that alternate under.
Of course.
You know what? I like that. That brings a pretty fresh new insight to some things that, we thought were going to happen. I'm a believer in without Jackson. Like you said it very well. The Baltimore backup, he's a good backup. And that's what he is.
And he's a very serviceable quarterback at backup. He's won some games for them. He's played well. He's made an effort. He's a very mobile guy too. It's not like he's not in the pocket quarterback who can't move. I mean, you give him room and he'll rip 15 yards off. So he's not an incapable athlete. He just doesn't have the same commanding presence that Lamar Jackson has.
So maybe a little bit, you could say a little bit lesser of a Lamar Jackson.
He's like, yes,
a Lamar Jackson.
He's a grocery store brand Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, he's the Food Lion brand Lamar Jackson.
Exactly.
I like that. All right, so let's go. And I think you said this is appropriate. So we'll get your take on this. Probably take a commercial, give the reins back to Steve here. The spread, you said it was appropriate. It's at 8.5 at minus 115. Being that you know this well, do you do anything with the spread? Minus 115. Now, if you're parlaying that, blah, 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 it's going to go into a factor with some other stuff.
Sure.
Unless you play it single, a 115, minus 115 for me. I don't play many singles at all.
Yeah.
But that's not a number that I really like playing a single. So give me a little bit of insight to, and we can't stress it enough. You're not a big gambler, but you do know this, so you can help out with the numbers of
Sure.
people that might want to move this stuff around.
Sure. I know the 115 isn't such a friendly number to gamblers.
It's not the sexy number.
It's not the number that gets you excited.
Right.
But really, if you take a look historically over seasons in the memorable past,
Point to me. What do you want?
AFC North, I mean, they're never high-scoring games.
Right.
It's never 35-27. It's never even really like 35 to blowout. It's always close. It always comes down to a field goal, a touchdown, a 2-point conversion. So I mean,
Some kind of gathering. You don't even really like the 8.5.
I don't, but I think it's appropriate.
Okay. All right. So let's just say. All right. Let's just leave it there then. We take the minus 115, and we partner that with some stuff. So, all right. You know what, Brody? We're gonna take a commercial break. Really appreciate you coming on with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming out on a Saturday and watching our live stream here from CP Shuckers. As far as AFC stuff goes, that was more. I could ask you about some other stuff, but I know where your team lies. It's in the AFC, so I know that you probably know. Like myself, I know a lot more about the NFC than I do the teams in the AFC.
Sure.
So it was really great having you on discussing the AFC stuff. So we thank you for that, and we're going to take a commercial break, and then we'll get back to it. Thanks for having me. All right, thank you. Really good.
Control your alcohol. Don't fight. Don't drink and drive. Your one punch could kill someone. It happens. If you're behind the wheel, you may think you are fine, but then the other driver is under the influence of texting, and then you are done. Control your alcohol.
Know your gambling limits. Don't ever bet what you can't cover. Wagering on sports is only fun when you do it the right way. Not every bet will win. When you get on a bad run, know it and avoid trouble. Know your gambling limits.
I said I want to change your mind. I said I want to blow your mind. But if there was really rap, let's go and get her. If there was really what I want, a chance I'm missing. My friend, you won't have his laugh. I am something better.
Family owned and operated, CP Shuckers Cafe and Raw Bar specializes in delicious cuisine, refreshing drinks, and a laid-back atmosphere. We opened our doors in 1995 and have enjoyed being a place to either relax or celebrate ever since. Whether you are in the mood to indulge in a great meal with your friends and family or watch the game, we promise that our inventive menu, attentive service, and skilled bartenders will have you truly satisfied. Both of our locations have spacious spacious outdoor patios for enjoying the breeze and catching a little sun. Our friendly staff at CP Shuckers will make your next dining experience a pleasant one by delivering personal care. We are open until 2 a.m. Full menu will be served until 10 p.m. and late night limited menu until 1 a.m. For larger parties, please give the location of choice a call. Pacific Avenue, 757-425-8676 or Shore Drive, 757-412-2929. More information at cpshuckers.com. Thank you for your continued support and have a shuckin' good time.
Know your gambling limits. Don't ever bet what you can't cover. Wagering on sports is only fun when you do it the right way. Not every bet will win. When you get on a bad run, know it and avoid trouble. Know your gambling limits. Know your gambling limits. Don't ever bet what you can't cover. Wagering on sports is only fun when you do it the right way. Not every bet will win. When you get on a bad run, know it and avoid trouble. Know your gambling limits.
All right, so this is truly a pleasure for me. I was born in Newport News, Virginia, so I have great respect for this man in many ways. Plus, we've been rugby opponents for about 20 years. I have my man Dale Runner. He is the head coach of Newport News Rugby. If you're on that side of the water, hit up newportnewsrugby.com, Dale. What's the best way to get in touch with you if you want to get some new players? And I'll say this, people. If you have a lazy athletic kid at home, send them out to rugby practice because they will learn a lot of good accountability, especially under Dale here. He runs a very tight ship. Great program out there for Newport News. I like going over there and playing for him, and I do that once in a while. And when I say once in a while, it's once in a very long while. But for anyone to kind of transplant themselves out of Virginia Beach, just across the water in an old boy game here and there to play for you. I think that says a lot about you guys. All right, so Dale is the head coach of Newport News Rugby. How do you get involved with rugby over in Newport News, Dale?
Okay, so Johnny Lawrence, who is my backs coach, we were working together in the Navy. We were stationed together, right? And this guy came up to me and asked me about playing rugby like 3 or 4 times, and I sort of blew him off. I'm like, John, I'm playing in flag football leagues. I'm a quarterback. I don't know nothing about rugby. So he, some things I can't say on the air, but 2 or 3 things he said to me sort of called me out in front of everybody, sort of hurt my ego. So I had to go check it out. And it was, I practiced on a Thursday. He said, just tackle and run straight. I'm great. Played in the Ed Lee Cup in Richmond. And you know what?
Fun times, those cups too, man. But go ahead.
Oh, man, it was so much fun. I was so sore.
Hey, we missed that tournament, to be honest, but go ahead.
No doubt. Ed Lee Cup, Porter Cup, they were great times. But
that's
anyway,
it.
And you know what, man? I'm the head coach and the president of the team. If you're over in that Newport News, Hampton, anywhere over there, and you want to do something fun, come play with me. I'm going to try to win the national title this year. And if you come play with me, we're going to have a good time. Just know we're straightforward and we love playing this game. Please come out for Newport News Rugby. I appreciate it. Steve, thank you for inviting me to this because Virginia Beach, I played with them way back in the day, a couple of years when I lived right here. And I'd say rugby's a great community. Everybody's together. It don't matter where you're at. We fight on the field, but then we go to the bar, we drink, have a good time, and we're always friends forever. Thank you, sir.
And how do they get in touch with you guys through the website?
Okay, so it's you go on Facebook and you'll see Newport News Rugby, and you just click on there, and then I'll accept you when you come on there, or you can get a hold of me by email, which is Mr. Easy13@yahoo.com. or if you want to call me at 757-346-8323, give me a ring, and I'll take 100 players, man. You can never have enough. Let me tell you that now.
And I've played with and mostly against Dale for 20 years.
Yes.
So ultimate respect from here, and he came all the way down from Hampton, where his lovely wife Lisa's off scrapbooking away on a retreat this weekend. So he's here with us to do the round robin, man. And here's the other thing I like about Dale is he has this old school perspective. All right, this is a Raiders fan who knows his team through thick and thin and completely. I mean, we're talking about 1970s Raiders. We're not talking about the Raiders of recent years. We're talking about the John Madden coach days. We're talking about the Snake Kenny Stabler. We're talking about Russian sickles for tackles back in the day and stuff. Howie Long galore. So Dale, let's talk about that real quick. What would you just like to see about for the Raiders? Is Josh McDaniel the right guy going into next year? Just the 1 year. We know Josh McDaniel, the Patriots coordinators never go on to be successful. Okay. They go on to other teams and they usually go back to the Patriots because they are unsuccessful. This is Josh McDaniel's second time around now. Derek Carr left the team prematurely before the end of the season. All right. There is definitely a lot of talent there. Definitely missing some things on defense. But this is why I love Dale. He's going to give a great old school perspective here on everything we talk about now.
Yep.
Go ahead and tell me about your Raiders this year moving forward.
Okay, so we'll start off real quick. I've been a Raiders fan since '68. I became one on the famous Heidi game. I was 6 years old. And I watched the Immaculate Reception. I was 10 years old when that happened. So I was a Raider fan 4 years prior to that. We didn't have cable TV back then, so we had to, the 1 o'clock games, the 4 o'clock games on CBS or NBC, But so going back to what Steve was saying about coaching. So the NFL really, I don't want to get too depth in this, but the NFL is all about head coach and quarterback play. So Josh McDaniel probably knows 1,000 plays, X's and O's. But not everybody can be a great head coach. A lot of people are better coordinators because they don't have as much responsibility to deal with, and all they have to deal with is the offense or defense or whatever it is. So Josh McDaniel, now we're in Las Vegas where it's more high profile, and you got these high-profile athletes like Carr, Adams, you name it. But we are not where we need to be, okay? So everybody's athletic in the NFL. It's not like college football where you have one or two players who can dominate the game and do this, that, and the other. So the quarterback position is where it's at. If we're not, converting third downs, which equals time possession, we struggle with that. And our defense doesn't stop anybody on third down. We're in bad position. So all that combined, we don't work on that. A lot of teams don't work at that. If you look at everybody made the playoffs, that's basically what it's all about. So the NFL is all about 3 to 7 points. You're not going to have too many blowouts. You'll get them here and there. But overall, each week there's going to be anywhere from, out of 16 games, 10 to 12 games decided by 3 to 7 points. So what I like to put into this, we got the playoffs getting ready to start off today. So I guess we'll go ahead and go into the San Francisco, Seattle.
Yeah, let's get right into it. I saw your picks. I think they're going to be different from mine. This is great. Dale's going to give the old school perspective. Dale, here's the thing. Let me ask you this because you said it to me off the air. This team's going to get waxed. They're going to kick their butts. This team doesn't stand a chance. And there's a few of those this week. Tell me why that's not the case.
So you want me to just do one game to start with?
No. In a general statement overall, they're all professional football players at the end of the day, right?
So let's look at the first game we got, San Francisco, Seattle.
Yeah.
So really the only way the Seattle Seahawks can win this game, right, is Kenneth Walker is going to have to run for 175 and 200 yards, which really equals time possession because it's going to be a wet field. Even though they're going to put the tarp on, it's going to be raining. Geno Smith, he's very athletic and everything, obviously, but he's not going to be able to beat you from the pocket. Okay? So the psychological part of it is here, can the Seattle defense stop San Francisco on third downs, third and longs, in clutch situations? So the longer the game goes on, And if Seattle can stay in the game, they have a chance to win. But really, I think Brock Purdy is very underrated. Because, like I said, I don't listen to other broadcasts. I do the research on my own. I'm not an expert at it, but what I do know is time possession, converting third down, which equals time possession. Don't turn the ball over. Whoever wins that battle in all these 6 games, I guarantee if you look at it, it'll be at least 4 or 6 of them it'll happen that way. So I'm going to take San Francisco to win the game 31-13. I just think they're better coach. Pete Carroll's a great coach. I think this guy Shanahan's got something for him, and I just believe the quarterback position is the biggest difference. Purdy's better than Geno Smith.
That being said, will Walker put up a good effort? Because he's getting 5-1 odds plus. He's plus 520, which means if you put down $100, you win 520. If Kenneth Walker can get 100 yards.
I would never do that because the 49ers defense is going to come to play. So the big thing is, what is the offensive line for Seattle's going to do? They're going to be able to control that defensive line and create holes for Walker? We'll see. I think he'll get 75 to 80 yards.
All right, next game, Jacksonville and San Diego. This is an interesting game to me, Dale. I'm kind of mistaken. I guess I assumed Justin Herbert has been in the playoffs. The Ant-Man tells me that is not the case. So Herbert has never been there. All 4 games today, or the 2 games today, all 4 quarterbacks have never been in the playoffs. Man, I feel like Justin Herbert is getting old. And this is his 4th year. I guess this is his 3rd year at the end of the day. But he's got a little bit more experience than Lawrence. Maybe just a year. I don't know. Now I'm second-guessing myself completely. But if Justin Herbert is that transcending quarterback, which everyone says that he is, then this is the kind of game that San Diego wins. Now, the Jaguars, man, I mean, if Doug Peterson as a coach that kind of fits the mold of you, Dale Runner, as a coach, I mean, that's him. That's a player's coach, a guy who's not afraid to come up with some craziness. The player's going to play hard for him, whatever. And you're seeing that right now with Jacksonville and the Jaguars. What do you like in this game?
Well, these teams are about as evenly as matched as you're going to get of all the playoff games. The reason I say that, you got 2 great quarterbacks, real athletic, big, got big arms. But 2 big keys here. Jacksonville is at home for one. It's not going to be really, very warm. It's going to be like 38 to 42 degrees at kickoff time. I believe the Jacksonville.
It's going to be cold. Yeah. For both of those teams.
Right. So, the Chargers defense has played really well the last 3 weeks, but prior to that, they were abysmal on the run. Why they were abysmal on the run, I have no idea. I believe Travis Etienne is going to have the most rushing yards of this weekend. I'm looking at him to get 140, 160 yards rushing, okay? And Jacksonville's defense, that linebacker, Ekelon, however you pronounce his name, that kid might be the best linebacker in the game. It doesn't get any notoriety, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. He's not getting any run.
Man, that guy, he's led the league in tackles, okay, the last 2 years. Okay, that's saying something, okay? So that means his defensive line in front of him is very good, all right? So in this game, I've got to take Jaguars at home. I believe Doug Peterson's a better coach.
I think that's actually probably the truth.
And everybody's like, well, they only win 9
Well,
games.
now Staley, he's kind of calmed down his 4th down going for it craziness.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that 4th and 2, let's go from our own 30 anymore. I think he's learned his lesson there, or, someone up the top said, hey, man, they're going to last very long if you keep doing that crap around here. But Peterson, man, that is a scary coach.
Yes, sir. See, NFL defenses are much more complicated than college defenses. So you're not going to be able to do this little athletic thing where you're going to beat this guy every time. NFL, that ain't going to happen. So what you need to do sometimes is save yourself for the next series. Because a lot of times that can cost you a game. Remember the Georgia TCU game, right before half, TCU press, they threw a ball, the flag got picked off, and then instead of being 24-7, it was 31-7. NFL, that ain't going to happen. Because if it does, then you're going to be ran out of the league. That's what NFL stands for. Not for long. You'll be run out of there. So I'm going to take the Jaguars tonight. I'm looking at a 24-20 game. I believe Trevor Lawrence will be the difference.
It's a little bit lower scoring game. And Jacksonville has defense. Yeah. And I think that's how they do win probably is they shut Herbert down, right?
Right, yes, sir. That's what I think. Okay.
So how about this? So Travis Etienne, Dale, I think you'll like these numbers. Plus 100 for 100 plus yards for Travis Etienne is plus 225. So if you put down 100, you win 225 for 110 yards plus 320. And if he can get to 125 yards, like you said he will, plus 550.
Yeah, you got to put that down, man, because
You bet them all. Bet all three. Because even if you win the bottom one, you'll cover the losses of the last.
Yes, sir. So I think the Jaguars, they're going to do what's called zone blocking. But the Chargers' defensive line is aggressive. So they're going to get him in spaces where Travis Etienne is very elusive. And then gets to linebacker level. He's going to get some big yardage on that. So I'm looking at him to do well tonight. So, like I said, Jaguars win this one.
Okay. I told you off the air, Buffalo at 1 o'clock kickoff Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow it should wax Miami. You told me, no. Wait a second, Steve. These guys are all professionals.
Okay.
Do the Dolphins keep the score within 13.5 points?
I'd say that's a tough one right there because here's the thing, right? Tua's a very accurate passer, but he's been injured. So then they went to Bridgewater, who's living his second life in the NFL. A guy, he's smart, he knows the game, but I believe he still is favoring his, ruptured legs. And the third guy, Skylar Thompson, is better than Bridgewater. So he is better than Bridgewater. I think he would give them a better chance. But the Dolphins' defense is not going to be able to stop Josh Allen. I think the biggest difference. So, Josh Allen, you can say what you want about him. He's been throwing these interceptions in red zone, this, that, and the other. I believe because they're playing at home, they sort of got a raw deal with his home field advantage. You can talk me to death all you want with Mr. Hammer. Yeah, he got in, had a life-threatening injury, which we all respect the decisions. But at the same time, as an athlete, you wanted to play that game. If anybody don't believe it, then you're crazy. So here's the thing. Miami's going to have to play the best defensive game they played. They're going to have to play better than what they did against
That's a tall order with their defense for sure.
They're going to have to play a better defensive game than they did against the Jets. But Josh Allen's the biggest difference. Like I said, it's head coaching and quarterback play. So I'm looking at Josh Allen to throw for 350 to 375. And then, it's going to be close to the middle of the third quarter. Then the Bills get 14 to 17 points late, and it gets out of hand. I think it'll be 38 to 17.
I think that's about just exactly my score, to be honest.
Okay.
The Dolphins, Tyreek Hill, what about him, the cheetah? Is he the best wide receiver in the league, or is there someone better? Or is it Justin Jefferson? Who do you like a wide receiver for the best in the league?
Well, Justin Jefferson has got to be the best wide receiver. His route running and his size. I mean, this guy's a freak, man. I mean, it's like
you see his hands too; they're crazy.
Like, I can see why Joe Burrow has won the national title with him and Jamar Chase. All you got to do is throw it to him. You know what I mean? But on a real note, though, Tyreek Hill, that guy's got all the energy in the world. He's in great shape. He can run around all day. No matter how good a shape you're in, you cannot run with this guy on a 10 and out than him sitting around. So if the quarterback, if Skylar Thompson's got time to throw, he might be able to get some throws in there. But if he don't get no time to throw, you can't just go to Tyreek Hill every time because, you got the other boy, Waddle, who's got some serious speed too. But the thing is, if you ain't got time to throw, this ain't college football where you got 6 or 7 seconds. You got to get rid of the ball within 3 seconds. The Bills are going to be putting pressure with blitz packages and everything. So I'm looking at the Bills running this out of here, if you get what I'm saying. So, I mean, Tyreek Hill's fast, but to me, Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase are 1 and 2 in the league. And then I would have to go with Brown of Philadelphia's third best wideout.
Every time I take him for some props, he just never comes through for me. His problem with A.J. Brown. Let me ask you this since you went to the Eagles real quick. We'll take a pause. We'll get into the rest of the slate. What about the benefit of the bye? I haven't talked about that all show. Rest is important. The Chiefs and the Eagles, how important and how may that give them both momentum enough to get to the Super Bowl?
Well, me as an athlete, and I've been playing rugby my whole life, and I played college and semi-pro football, I don't like byes. Simply because
you're going to play the players week 18. You're playing your players, right?
Yeah. And I get why. I understand why. That doesn't mean I don't understand why. That doesn't mean I believe it. So if you're healthy to play, you need to be on that field because the NFL is all about continuity. So you take a week off. Let's take the Eagles, right? So when Jalen Hurts got injured, they didn't lose because Gardner Minshew was in there. Okay, you got a different type of offense, so you don't have the same continuity in there. Okay, Gardner Minshew put up, 38 points against the Cowboys and they lost. So that's the defense. Has nothing to do with all. I don't want to hear about turnovers and all that. You had turnovers early in the year with Jalen Hurts, but your defense stopped. So I do not believe in sitting around players. You need to play. So I believe the Chiefs will be better off because Andy Reid's been there. Patrick Mahomes has been there, where the Eagles have not been there yet. So I believe the Eagles will lose in the divisional round, whoever they play. I just believe that. I believe the Chiefs will get the championship.
And the Eagles, right? How many cases have you seen, Dale, where these teams have done great all regular season? They look unstoppable, and then they get into the playoffs, and damn, there you go. They trip on their toes, stub themselves, and bam, you're out. See you next year. And it's a whole different team the next year. It's never the same team ever, right?
Yeah.
How many times have you seen that play out?
Okay. So we go all the way back to the Raiders when we were a wild card in '81. We had to play the Chargers in the championship. We lost them twice in the regular season. I didn't think we was going to be able to beat them. And we did, 34-27. So it's all, like I said, they're all professionals. It's all about adjustment, especially in today's league. You are so even across that board. It is just, when somebody tells me a team doesn't have no athletes, I just be laughing. And these are professional athletes that used to play the game, and they'd be saying that. I'm just like, man, you're out of your mind. This dude. So take Jalen Hurts. This is his second year, okay? Can this guy by himself beat whoever they play in the next round? Can he do it? And if he does, man, I give him credit. But I'm telling you, man, you taking that time off ruins you. I've seen it. Ravens in 05, 02, whatever. They beat the Giants.
Yep.
Yeah. You guys went undefeated and lost to the Giants.
Yep. That's a good example. Yep.
I mean, we can go on with it, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, the Bills probably had the best franchise from 88 to 94. Maybe the best team ever for a 6-year period, along with the Steelers from 76 to 80. But they never won one. But they were the best team in the league every year. So think about that. That's just something to think about.
Okay? So Justin Jefferson, we'll transition from him. He was in the conversation at least 3 minutes ago anyway.
Yeah.
So the Vikings -3 at home against the Giants. All right, Dayball's been a great coach, great addition I don't think you're going to argue that at all for the Giants. He's made them so much more better team, stabilized them really because they were a team in complete flux for a long time now. So Dayball's done good. But the Vikings are a team who's been there before in the playoffs, and they do have that playoff experience. Is that experience enough tomorrow to move them on to the next round?
Okay. So yes and no. So the Vikings this year have won 11 games by one score, and 10 of them in the last 2 minutes. All you got to do is go back and look at the highlights. It'll show them to you. So, but they're the only team in the history to go 13-4 and give up 4 points and
they scored. Right.
Okay, because of the 4 losses, 3 of them were complete blowouts, which is sort of crazy, okay? So going back there, the Giants played them 3 weeks ago, and they lost like on the last play of the game in one of them games. So you got Kirk Cousins, who I like, but he does in certain situations make mistakes.
The best thing about him, he's not playing tonight. He's going to be camouflaged at a 4 p.m. game because he's really bad at night games. And I get what you're saying. He can really cough it up and give it to the other team at any given second. Unstable chemical compound there with Kirk Cousins.
So what I would do if I'm Kirk Cousins, so I'm going to use Justin Jefferson either as a decoy most of the game or just go to him. You ain't got nothing to lose, okay? Whereas the Giants, I'm going to run Saquon Barkley. And don't give up on the run because your first 8 carries, you only get 12, 13 yards. Keep running this guy and then bring in the other boy, Brightwell, who can run the ball.
Right.
Gives them I'm not really a running back by committee guy, but you can mix it up in there. You got nothing to lose. Because remember, in football, which is unique compared to the other 3 major sports, it's one game.
Could Hawkinson be the trade of the year, especially if they make a deep run?
Yes. That was a big pickup because, but here I go again. Why did the Vikings choose the tight end before he got there? So you're telling me Hawkinson is this much more athletic than whatever tight end they had?
They might have some big dumbass tight end who can't fucking figure out a route in there.
Right, I got you. Yeah. So anyway, this is my upset of the
This guy with the Iowa? What now?
This is my upset of the weekend. I'm taking the Giants for the upset. I'm going with a 24-21,
Okay.
28-24 victory.
You like lower scoring games. Playoff time, there's not going to be a lot of points in these games that you're telling me.
I ain't going to be no college like these crazy bowl games there was. Yeah, I'm looking at 28-24 Vikings. Giants upset the Vikings.
All right, I love it. All right, the night game, Bengals and the Ravens. Now, this over-under is right at 40.5. Who knows what the Ravens are going to pull out at quarterback? It sounds like it's going to be Huntley, but maybe Lamar Jackson comes out. The spread dropped from 10 to 8.5. Burrow has some swag, man. I mean, you like players with some swag, and Joe Burrow has that, and so do the Bengals offense. It's just a blowout by Cincinnati.
Here's the way this game's going to work. This is the way I see this game totally. So the Ravens defense is going to keep in the game at first. John Harbaugh.
Close first half.
He gets his players ready for defense. The problem with the Ravens secondary, they like to gamble. So instead of making good open field tackles, they want to try to strip the ball. These three Bengal receivers, Boyd, Higgins, and Jamar Chase, you can't take the ball from them. Okay? It's just you got to make the tackle. So what's going to happen? They're going to keep the game in there close in the first half, middle of third quarter. I'm looking at like 17-10 and stuff. And then the Bengals will get 2 late scores because the Ravens are going to be they're going to be behind. They're going to be trying to throw these crazy passes. There's going to be a couple interceptions. Wilson on defense might be the most underrated middle linebacker in the game.
Yep.
That guy would have been the MVP of the playoffs last year if the Bengals would have won the Super Bowl.
Could Haloti Nada played rugby for you now that he's retired from the Bengals and not playing on that defense? If you don't know people, then the Seahawks and the Ravens have both preached rugby tackling in their technique,
Yes.
which is wrap the player. Don't launch. Don't try to hit him with their, get him down by sheer effort. If you're going to do a proper tackle deal, you must wrap the player and take him to the ground.
Head to the side. It's so easy. I laugh when people tell me, you can't bring Derrick Henry down that way.
Wrap him around his legs.
I've never seen a guy hop down the field 50 yards yet with his legs wrapped.
Right.
If he does, I need some of them vitamins he's taking. That's some good stuff right there, brother. But yeah, let's just say that the Bengals are going to win this, eliminate the Ravens, because they got more issues than the IRS on April 15th. So I'm looking at the Bengals to move to the next round.
All right, is Brady too old? Do the Buccaneers win Monday night against the Cowboys? This is a good game. Should be an interesting game to split the hangover out on the Monday night before we start to do beach sprints on Tuesday again, which you'll do them on Monday. I know you will.
Oh yeah. So man, I tell you what, they call me in rugby, they call me Father Time, right? Rugby's much safer than football. Plus, Tom Brady, man, let's be real, this guy's got more drive in the game than anybody that's ever been there. Because he just wants to win every match. But look, so when you look at these two teams, you can't go by Dallas getting waxed by Washington last game of the year. You can't go by Atlanta waxing Tampa the last game of the year. So I think Dallas and Dak Prescott and them finally going to beat Brady and Tampa because the defense of Tampa's wore out. And Todd Bowles is the biggest reason why they're not better because his coaching, he probably knows 3,000 plays on defense, but damn if he's implementing. Because Ritter of the Falcons last week, man, he looked like Johnny Unitas in his prime.
Right.
Come on, man. You've been in this league how long and you can't get people in position? How the hell can Bruce Arians get him to the Super Bowl, dominate? You sign the exact same damn players back, and yet you're 8-9. Come on, man. So I'm looking at Dallas, and McCarthy just doesn't lay an egg. Run Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. Run them to death. And quit trying to make stupid plays.
If Dallas does lose, is it because they make stupid plays and shoot themselves in the foot?
Yes.
Okay.
Dak Prescott and all other NFL teams and quarterbacks do not throw to the flats inside the 20 because it gets picked off and ran back the other way and no one's there to defend it. I say that 100 times. Do not throw to the flats up in the middle. But you know what, man? I'm looking forward to these great playoffs, man. I watch NFL every Sunday with my wife. She's a Steeler fan. I'm a Raider fan. You know, you're a Patriot fan.
They were at the Christmas Eve game too, Raiders and Steelers.
Yes.
So go ahead.
Yeah, my wife and I went to the Steelers Raiders game, and let me tell you, it was 8 below getting there. We had these dudes up in there with shorts on. Man, come on, man. It was, man. By the time I left there, I know why I don't do mountain climbing or Antarctica expeditions. My toes were frozen, people. Next game I go to, it's going to be warm. I can promise. You know what, man? I love the NFL and what it stands for. You know what I'm saying? I love all sports, but this has been great, man. I appreciate your time and, you know, inviting me to do this stuff. I'd like to do some more, if you don't mind.
Well, so we talked about new programming on the network, and I've extended it out to Dale. He just needs to tell me an official yes. But Major League Rugby, which if you're out there listening, you might be like, all right, who cares about that? But, you know, there is a whole rugby world who does, and they do point spreads out on these games. Okay, so we really get some Major League Rugby insight, and we would be the first network to put on such a program, to be honest. So, Dale, hopefully we will see you for some Major League Rugby every week.
Oh, man, I'd love it, man.
All right, so that sounds like that's a locked-in contract to me. The pay is zero until they FanDuel pays us $1 million, Dale,
right,
and then we start to get a paycheck.
Yes, sir.
Or, you know, if you want to obviously, if you want to advertise with us, Deep End, DEEP 757 at yahoo.com, you can advertise. Dale, man, we appreciate your old school insight here on all the games. Do you mind going to grab the Ant-Man and telling him to, he's the kid you talked about from Pittsburgh.
Yes,
Tell him to get his ass over here. I'll send us the commercial.
Yes, we'll do that. Thank you, sir.
And then we'll be back right after this, if I can find the right commercial. I think we're on outro number 3 right now. We'll play that one. Why not? All right. Thanks, Dale.
Every time I hear a favorite song, now you're gone. There's just emptiness. I only reminisce. The happiness is true. We used to dance to the music, make romance to the music. Now it's a same old song, but with a different meaning since you've been gone. It's a same old song, but with a different meaning since you've been gone.
Text the round robin your questions, comments, wagers. Give us a reason. Sleeper fantasy play, your best alternative line, whatever you have. Text the round robin 757 354 5517. Do you want to advertise with Deep End Broadcasting? Send us an email at deepend757 at yahoo.com. That's deepend757 at yahoo.com.
Control your alcohol. Don't fight. Don't drink and drive. Your one punch could kill someone. It happens. If you're behind the wheel, you may think you are fine, but then the other driver is under the influence of texting, and then you are done. Control your alcohol.
Know your gambling limits. Don't ever bet what you can't cover. Wagering on sports is only fun when you do it the right way. Not every bet will win. When you get on a bad run, know it and avoid trouble. Know your gambling limits.
Family owned and operated, CP Shuckers Cafe and Raw Bar specializes in delicious cuisine, refreshing drinks, and a laid-back atmosphere. We opened our doors in 1995 and have enjoyed being a place to either relax or celebrate ever since. Whether you are in the mood to indulge in a great meal with your friends and family or watch the game, we promise that our inventive menu, attentive service, and skilled bartenders will have you truly satisfied. Both of our locations have spacious outdoor patios for enjoying the breeze and catching a little sun. Our friendly staff at CP Shuckers will make your next dining experience a pleasant one by delivering personal care. We are open until 2 a.m. Full menu will be served until 10 p.m. and late night limited menu until 1 a.m. For larger parties, please give the location of choice a call. Pacific Avenue, 757-425-8676 or Shore Drive, 757-412-2929. More information at cpshuckers.com. Thank you for your continued support and have a shuckin' good time. All right, drinks are flowing. Everyone's starting to file in here to CP Shuckers on Wild Card Football Saturday. Two good games, San Fran and Seattle, Jacksonville and San Diego. CP Shuckers picked it up. This is the round robin. We are live from the beautiful coastline of Virginia Beach, Virginia, the United States of America, and the Ant-Man is out with us. It's time to get into the props for today. He's going to have some unique props. I got some good props too, so this is your big prop segment. Because Ant-Man, the stars come to shine when it comes to the playoffs. Is that something you would agree with?
Playoff baby. And it's playoff season.
It is playoff season. We're looking forward to it, man. We can't wait. So let's get right into it. San Fran and Seattle. That's a good game coming up right here. All right. Point spread, 9.5 for San Fran. I don't think it's moved out that update here. 42.5, I believe, is the over-under. Let's get this right here. I don't want to give this information, and you got the ticker at the bottom. It should still be 42.5. That's where we are. 9.5, 42.5 for San Fran. I've said all along that Pete Carroll. Make sure nothing. All right, I thought Pie Taste was wrong. Okay. Pete Carroll can keep this game close. Familiar opponent with San Fran. There could be a Purdy factor at play. But the Stars, they are plenty of San Fran, and you are a prop guy. Man, we love some Debo. McCaffrey, they bring him there for a reason. And that reason is to win games like they would win today. How do you see this breaking out? Which players are having the big games today?
You got to look at what San Francisco's been doing, especially with George Kittle. 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns. He has been an absolute machine, especially with Debo.
His numbers are insane against Seattle as well. And Seattle can't cover tight ends. We know that.
They always stink against tight ends. So if you're going to throw anyone in there, you're going to definitely throw in George Kittle. But what I'm intrigued on is how well is Debo recovering from that. I think it was a hamstring. Not 100% exactly what it was, but they eased them back.
They may call it a hamstring when it could be a knee or something. Who knows, right?
It's an everything. Yeah. But you know what? If Debo's on the field, watch out for him. It's going to be the Debo, George Kittle show. You're going to sprinkle McCaffrey. And guess what? Elijah Mitchell's back too. So you have these 4
Elijah Mitchell's back. I think that's an underrated running back to coming back into the mix here. People don't really think about him, but man, he could be a starter on any other team.
He can be a starter in at least half the NFL teams right now. You know what? He just came back from IR.
Nephew Dave, can you play waitress for me? All right, good. We are drinking and
Yeah.
broadcasting,
You
people.
didn't even eat the orange.
This is a party, by the way.
You didn't even eat the damn orange slice. Unbelievable. You have all these studs with San Francisco. This is a wrap, right? Seattle shouldn't even have been in. If it wasn't for Green Bay and Detroit just stinking the last couple weeks, Seattle shouldn't even been in. Who's their kicker for Seattle? The idiot who almost blew.
Yeah, he
lost
almost
for
blew.
him?
Yeah,
He
whatever.
almost blew it, and they still barely beat the damn Rams.
Yeah. He's the same guy as the Cleveland kicker who's not reliable. How about that?
But here's what I'm intrigued on with this game. Can they establish the running game?
Robbie Gold, by the way.
Oh, Robbie Gold, too. Can they actually establish the running
No,
game?
that's a San Fran kicker, the Seattle kicker. Sorry.
Some other guy.
They don't even have him listed on the props.
Take that away from the
Yeah,
electronic.
that-
Put that over there.
All right, continue.
Seattle has any chance of winning this damn game, it's going to be controlling the run game. Can they execute Kenneth Walker? Can they utilize their star receivers? And can they actually keep the time of possession? And
That's what Dale said. He said they need a big dose of Kenneth Walker.
they
there.
have to. Is it possible that today's the next beast mode? Remember what Marshawn Lynch did against the Saints? Now, I know that they were home, and I know they're in.
I do remember that game well, actually.
keep
I was
wanting-
bartending and watching at the same time.
I keep wanting to say Candlestick. What are they called? Levi Stadium or something?
Right.
Yeah, they named their screw it, Candlestick. But they're going to win this game. Time of possession, Kenneth Walker, Lockett, Metcalf. Noah Fant right now is questionable. They still got the Will Disleys, but I could actually see this game being closer than a lot.
I
of
took
people.
plus 3.5 Seattle on the all line. That's fair, right?
Plus 3.5 for Seattle.
Yeah, that way if the San Fran wins by a field goal, I still get paid 2-1.
I'd rather do that than ask for a blowout.
Take them for a straight up. Yeah.
Now, it's been pouring all morning. I know they got the tarp over the field, but it's still going to – let's put it this way. It's going to look like Seattle. It's just going to be more red.
Yeah, right. That will be a decisive home field advantage. I don't think the 49er fans let in the Seattle fans. I don't think you hear the blue screaming like you will in Tampa Bay, where Dallas fans are going to maybe take half the stadium up on Monday night. But just because, you know what, Anthony, you can sell your season tickets and make a lot of money and pay for your season to a Cowboys fan who's willing to buy it, right? You're not going to have that problem in San Francisco today. So closer game than you expect. So you like the Kittle props?
I do, yeah. Any Kittle or Debo.
70-1, he's paying nice, like 3-1 odds.
I'm all right with
70
that.
yards.
Now, what about that? What about that fullback? That Kyle Jerzer?
Bad beat of the week last week. Anthony called it on the air too. We talked all about it. A.J. Brown for a touchdown and Kyle Juszczyk for a touchdown. And A.J. Brown on some cathedral flea flicker play scores right out of the gate. So Juszczyk just has to get the one touchdown. He set up for it. They put him in a passing route where they threw Kittles the ball instead. Shanahan should have said, give Juszczyk this touchdown. Just give it to him, hand it up off the middle. Depressing to see. But I could see him scoring today. This is the kind of game where they're going to rely on Kyle Juszczyk to get into it.
This is the Jerzer game, possibly. So throw him on, whatever tandem ass parlay you have. Kyle Jerzer.
If they played him like an old school Mike Allstott, would he succeed in that role? I think he would.
I've been doing nothing but watching Mike Allstott highlights all morning.
Really? No
Yeah,
shit.
freaking awesome. Number 40, baby.
That's the weird connection we have here. That kind of weird thing out. Okay, so we like that. How about tonight? Jacksonville and San Diego. I'll give him my take on this. This could be a lot of points scored here. There could be some good props involved here. What are you looking at here?
This is the highest over-under of the weekend, right?
47.5, which is not. 48.5 with Minnesota Giants would be the highest.
The fact that it's in Jacksonville, not that it would matter if it was in L.A. or anything, but you got a team that just literally sneaked by a divisional game win against Tennessee. Like, if it wasn't for that Dobbs fumble, it'd be Tennessee. And we probably wouldn't be talking about this because who the hell cares about Tennessee? But you have a solid offense with Lawrence, ETN, both Joneses, Zay Jones and Marvin Jones, and Christian Kirk, and Evan Ingram. Here's where it gets tricky with the Chargers, though. I know you have Justin Herbert. You have, old man Austin Eckler. You're missing Mike Williams. So it's going to be Keenan Allen. You're going to sprinkle some DeAndre Carter. Who the hell's the other guy?
Josh Palmer for
Josh Palmer. Yep. And then you got Gerald Everett, and then you got Donald Parham Jr., the backup tight end.
He shows up about once every 13 weeks on the average.
Pretty much. Wait, that was about 13 weeks ago. That's why I'm taking. That's why
he scored recently. He actually had a touchdown about 6 weeks ago.
Well, we'll get to it, but that's why Parham's actually in my my crop.
I actually drafted him at one point, Parham Jr., Donald Parham Jr., because he had like a 2-touchdown game. Like, oh, this guy's gonna be the next big thing, and then he goes dormant, for 13 weeks. Like we said.
So the Mike Williams void is going to be tricky for the Chargers, especially because if you guys don't know, first postseason game, Geno, Brock Purdy, Trevor Lawrence, and Herbert. All of them.
Yeah, I was kind of mistaken. I thought Herbert was in the playoffs at one point and lost. I guess not as a rookie. I guess they never made it. They've always been on the fringe. But they played now here's the deal. They played fringe games to see if they're good enough to get in the playoffs. And maybe came up.
Bruce Staley's always done something stupid to make them
right.
not getting it.
Do you think he can get fired if they lose this game? And in stupid fashion if they lose.
If they get their asses kicked, then yes. If it's a close game and they at least show something, it's possible because they can always use that Mike Williams injury. But at the same time, why the hell would you play Mike Williams to begin with in Week 18?
What's your best bet for this game? Prop-wise.
Donald Parham for a touchdown.
Ah, man, that's a sneaky little play.
I am going with Donald Parham.
Oh, he's got to be paying pretty good, right? 7-1 odds, something like that?
Something like that.
Let's see. Wait, this is the show. This is why we are on here. We got to now, Anthony, I'm on kicker props of the 49ers games. Let me get off of here. So anytime touchdown scores, we'll go ahead and read through a few of these just so you know them. Eckler's minus 140, ETN's minus 125, Christian Kirk plus 165, Keenan Allen, I skipped over him, plus 145, Ingram plus 230, Palmer plus 250, Zay Jones plus 240, Marvin Jones plus 390. That might be good. How about Hasty? I like Hasty at 490.
Michael Hasty.
He's getting some good run there. We haven't seen a Donald Parham. There he is. Donald Parham Jr. plus 550, paying just under the price for the Chargers to get a defensive touchdown.
And another thing, if you don't remember from that Jags-Chargers game, going back to Week 3 when they blew the living piss out of them, 38-10, both Jones, Marvin Jones, Zay Jones, and Christian Kirk all scored. So if you want to sprinkle any of those guys in, be my guest.
Oh, they beat the hell out of San Diego that game. Los Angeles. Now, does the Williams injury, is that huge in your weighing of maybe Jacksonville winning this game?
Home field advantage. Did you hear? We watched this game together against Tennessee. Did you hear how loud that stadium was?
Yeah, it was loud.
That was 8-17. Holy hell.
I heard someone call him the boat this week.
Oh.
They used to call him the boat instead of the goat. Isn't that funny?
Oh, unbelievable.
It was a Jacksonville fan on another show. All right. Okay. The Bills have all the reason in the world to blow out the Dolphins. They got the nostalgia factor. They got Hamlin. They got Knox's brother who got killed. They got 20 people killed in the snowstorm. They have mall shootings. They had to travel to Detroit to play football games. They have the complete God is on your side nostalgia factor. Or maybe that's a distraction. But we don't expect Miami to win. If this is the game where Buffalo flexes their muscles, this is the one. But you like to stroke Tyreek Hill's nuts off a little bit. Tell me the reason. Is he the reason why Miami can keep this close? Is Hill and Waddle?
That's the only reason because I got to check this out, but I'm pretty sure Mostar's not playing. I'm pretty sure.
So it's going to be a heavy dose of Jeff Wilson Jr. if that's the case, right? Which, you know what? I think he's Elijah Smith or Elijah Mitchell Jr., to be honest.
Pretty much.
I mean, he kind of is. I don't think Smith Jr. is that bad of a running back. I think that was a good trade for Miami at the time. He can get into the end zone as well. But he does remind me, man, what a crowd. Isn't that a good problem to have if you're the 49ers to have all those running backs back there? And man, and only if they had a proven quarterback, which it could be Purdy. Purdy could be the next Brady.
Hey, he was Mr. Irrelevant. He was Mr. Irrelevant. So, look.
It's just a close game in Buffalo, bottom line. Okay.
No. Raheem Mostert's not playing. It's going to be Jeff Wilson. And they're going to be
Green light props on Buffalo all day.
They're going to be relying on a third-string quarterback, Skylar Thompson. And they barely beat the Jets with Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
So,
yes, but that's not like it's a long time ago, people. That was just 6 days ago.
Look, if a lot of people are looking at what happened, I think in week 15, when I think it was 32-29 Buffalo. Guess what? They had Tua. They don't have Tua. He ain't playing. And neither is Teddy. Neither of those guys are playing. Skylar Thompson. I'm not sure if Teddy's actually active or not. Maybe he'll be a backup of some sort. I think he has a thumb injury. But look, Tyreek and Waddle are still going to get their catches. Buffalo's going to be up by something. It's just a matter of, does Buffalo continue to just run up the score? I actually like the Buffalo running backs more than the receivers.
I have Buffalo anytime touchdown defense today. What do you think about that?
I am totally okay with that.
Yeah. Good odds. 6-1 odds. So maybe not the best odds. I think 7-1 odds.
Now, the only big thing I'm looking at, especially for Buffalo defense case, I'm wondering if Hamlin's going to be at the game tomorrow. Because he's
got it. Oh, of course.
He just got discharged.
Is that crowd not going to go nuts if he comes out and sings the national anthem?
I'd go nuts. Even Miami fans might go nuts.
Dude, wouldn't that be awesome? He's like, man, my lungs are good enough to pipe out the national anthem for this game.
Oh my!
Would that not be the coolest national anthem of all time? Even if he can't sing.
Have him. Let's put
if it was me and my separated alumni, I'm like, let me do the national anthem and tear this house down.
How about that? Yeah. But look, Diggs is going to get his. Gabe Davis is going to get his. Knox is going to get his. Isaiah McKenzie, he's questionable right now. Do not know anything right now. And guess what? I think if this game does get out of hand, it could be a Singletary game. I look at James Cook. Remember James Cook?
Yeah. How about Naheem Hines? Can you get it? I have him in an anytime touchdown parlay, and he is plus 490 for a touchdown.
If you're going to bet Naheem Hines, you might as well parlay that with Buffalo.
Well, they can scat back him too. I mean, they can scat back Hines too.
Oh yeah. I just only because he's their primary returner, and they do have James Cook as their, I guess, every other down, third down back with Singletary. If you're gonna do a Buffalo Bills defensive touchdown, you might as well throw in Hines because what if he gets that kickoff return like he did last week?
Right. I don't know if he returns punts. That's the one thing I don't know. He should be if he's not.
I don't know. That's an interesting question.
He should be.
I'll look it up. But
all right.
You guys look it up.
All right. Let's talk about other players' nuts we like to strip. Justin Jefferson and the Vikings. The Vikings are -3. The Giants all week. I've been hearing Giants play all week. I'm not going to say it's crazy to me, and I get it. Minnesota just barely wins all these games, and I've been the biggest Minnesota backer all year. I mean, is there not a game I'm not rooting for Jefferson to get 2 touchdowns? I feel like that's every game I'm rooting for that. He does not find the end zone ever, but he's racking up the yards. He has an all historic season, really, for the most part, or at least close to it. In the top 5 for NFL MVP for sure is Justin Jefferson. He is in the top 5 there. We all know the Kirk Cousins factor. We talk about it all the time. If I had the scream button, I'd hit the scream button right now about Kirk Cousins and how he fucking fucks everything up for the Vikings or the Redskins, whoever he was playing for.
Unless they're on prime time.
But they have the experience. All right, this is the game where they actually have some playoff experience. The Giants do not. In my following of the NFL for 30-plus years now, okay? 40 years. I mean, I've been watching every game I can since 1980, I think. But I mean every game. It's every game. We have 6 TVs on at one time here, or we're at the bar watching all the games or whatever. Okay, it's taking as many as we can. All right. Tell me where I'm wrong on this, where the Minnesota Vikings can't win this game by multiple scores, because they have lots of offense. They can light it up.
This is their potential breakout game. The stars come to shine. The Vikings, I think, can win by multiple scores.
Minnesota's issue. I know.
I was looking at the
Yeah, I know. Hey, look. Hey, look, he's alive. Hey, guess what? We're alive too. Hi, guys. Anyway,
Uncle Ned in the house.
Uncle Ned.
I've seen it all now.
I'm putting you up for 5 minutes after the end. Man,
You want to put on your headphones?
stand by for all that. All right.
Minnesota's good at a lot of things. And here's what they're really good at. Either sucking in the first half and then doing incredible in the second half,
Right.
or absolutely demolishing them in the first half and then letting them tie the game up with 3 minutes to go. I do not know which Kirk Cousins we're going to get. The one advantage we have is that they are home. They have their full arsenal. They got Hawkinson, who put up 2 touchdowns against them in Week 16 on Christmas Eve. They have Jefferson, who put up over 130 yards on Christmas Eve. Thielen actually did not. Thielen sucked. He actually got 6 yards, which is why Thielen's actually one of my plays. Well, you actually focus.
I'm listening to Thielen.
Quit looking at it.
I got to play producer, audio engineer at the same time, Anthony.
Anyway,
It's hard to be the head talent, audio engineer, and producer at the same time. But go ahead. If I lavish the life of you, going around with Babs,
blah, blah,
French kissing, I would have. Go ahead.
Look, they still got a solid running game with Dalvin and their backup Alexander Madison.
Madison scores so much. He counterfeits so many touchdowns.
But what's interesting about this Giants team is, why are they good? They're not supposed to be good. Look at
It's Dayball. Dayball's a great coach.
Ryan Dayball.
And maybe that's the reason why. I shouldn't have said this with Bill Grande. We're trying to think of why Buffalo has taken a mini step back. They're not the bookie slaughter machine. It's just something's just not right with how Buffalo clicks on offense.
No.
It's Dayball.
It's Dayball. And he's actually brought this Giants team together, which is why this Giants team is one of the most favorite upsets of the weekend. Everything, CBS, Yahoo, ESPN, everything I've looked up, the Giants are going to win by a field goal. The Giants are going to win by 4. Giants are going to win by 5. How do we shift that so that Minnesota wins by 10? Which is very possible. All Kirk Cousins has to do is not Kirk Cousins. That's simple. Utilize Jefferson. Utilize Adam Thielen.
Isn't that the Giants' philosophy? As long as Kirk Cousins can be Kirk Cousins, we win that game.
That's the problem. That's the biggest problem the Vikings have. And KJ Osborne, you remember seeing him on Week 18? We didn't have him in any of our bets.
KJ Osborne has been counterfeiting some touchdowns.
What did he get? 130 yards? Oh,
the one time I take him in a stretch, he does nothing. Right?
And let's look at the Giants receivers: Isaiah Hodgins, Richie James, Darius Slayton, and of course the most infamous ex-Detroit line of them all, Kenny Golladay, who scored last week, of course. Look, they still got Barkley, they still got Bellinger, they still got a couple good handful of tight ends. And Daniel Jones, they've been incorporating him more, not just with the passing game, but with his legs. So if they are within the 10-yard line, do not be surprised if Daniel Jones does that quarterback draw, that quarterback roll.
Right, he can run and get some yards with it. Yeah. He's alive in the same game parlays, rushing style.
I'll probably be throwing a few same-game parlays with Daniel Jones in there, probably sprinkle a couple other Vikings, something else like that.
Let me ask you this. I don't mean to interrupt, but where's Saquon Barkley been in this offense?
I don't even think he knows. They give him the ball, they throw him the ball, he does what he needs to do, but they don't have actual, a year ago, he used to use these fake wide receiver screen curl routes where he would actually run around the wide receiver would give him a screen. They don't give him that anymore. They're actually using him as an actual running back. Probably a Dable factor. But I could see him being incorporated in the passing game. Let me take a peek. I actually have the box score from that Christmas Eve game. Saquon got 84 for 1, and Barkley got 8 catches for 49 yards. So if they're going to win this game, it's going to be Barkley through that screen game.
Cincinnati and Baltimore. All right. I like both the running back props on rushing yards, to be honest. I think Dobbins gets a bulk load of the carries for Baltimore, who tries to keep it a sloppy, ball-controlled game. And the Bengals, where they don't, against a stubborn defense, as long as they can just move the ball against Baltimore, then
they shouldn't be able to keep up with points. And if they can move the ball on the ground with Mixon, then that's going to be actually a leg up. It's going to be a better wash. If it's both the running backs running the ball, that's going to be better at the end of the day for the Bengals because they're going to be able to hit play action with the receivers or whatever. And that's going to be the difference in the game. So I could see a low-scoring game here, and I love both running backs to potentially get 100 yards. What do you think?
I agree. I like Mixon. I like J.K. Dobbins. Remember, J.K. didn't play in Week 18 when they faced the Ravens last week. And guess what? What happened? Kenny and Drake scored. It's going to be a lot of running. You know,
Dobbins is ready. Dobbins is like, and it's a homecoming for him a little bit in Ohio. How about that?
he's close to Ohio State.
75 miles within anyway.
Mm-hmm. So the other thing with Baltimore is, and I know Chase got 100 and a touchdown, I believe, last week. Baltimore's defensive backs are not as bad as you think. Baltimore's defense is actually pretty good. Now, T. Higgins also was out of that game. He exited the game, and they were like, "The hell with it, rest you for next week." They got Chase, Higgins, and Boyd, and Hayden Hurst he got his incentive. He got his 3 catches from last week. But guess what? They were missing their receiver. I'm curious how this game will go. From the Baltimore side, from Cincinnati side, I'm gonna sprinkle in Mixon. I'm gonna sprinkle in Chase, even Tyler Boyd. He's been incorporated even more down the stretch. What I'm intrigued on with the most is with this Baltimore team. We know J.K. Dobbins is gonna get his, but who else? Can you name anyone else other than J.K. Dobbins and Mark Andrews? No.
Not for Baltimore, no. Unless you're asking me for Anthony Brown to come in and some slash roll, Cordell Stewart style, and take an inside handoff and pass the ball deep to Devin Duvernay.
Well, we're not going to know. We're not going to know about Anthony.
Hey, the Devin Duvernay might not be a bad anytime touchdown, whatever we expect, to be honest. Which we should have this game. I should have all these games pulled up.
Hey, Steve, real quick. Devin Duvernay, the guy from Texas, right?
I've never bet him, Anthony, but every time I feel like I have a Ravens player bet, he's the asshole who scores against me. To be honest, Devin Duvernay today.
I'm curious if you see him. I am very intrigued to see if you see him.
Is he hurt? He must be hurt.
He's been on the IR since week 15.
That's how much he's on my radar.
One receiver that's intriguing for Baltimore is Demarcus Robinson because he actually scored against them, I believe.
Right. Nice play.
Earlier in the year. Now, if Anthony doesn't play, or he's probably going to play, Tyler Huntley's not rolled out yet.
No. I don't think Lamar's rolled out yet officially, is he? I can see some shenanigans play. I could actually see some shenanigans.
Lamar's not playing.
I don't think he is.
But
would you be surprised if they said, "Oh, here's Lamar tomorrow night and Sunday," and all the bettors like, "Oh, great, thanks."
He's not playing. Tyler Huntley might play. Now, if Tyler Huntley plays, he's kind of like Lamar Jackson White. Throws the ball well enough, and he runs the ball. Marcus Robinson might be my one Raven that I am intrigued with. Because, hey, Mark Andrews has been he's been stinky. So is Isaiah Likely. That entire team. Actually, no, Isaiah Likely's been doing well in the void of Mark Andrews. So throw whatever Raven else you want. But, yeah, J.K. Dobbins, you want to throw Mark Andrews in short. Isaiah Likely short. Marcus Robinson short. Oh, didn't they just sign Sammy Watkins from Green Bay?
Yes, a few weeks back.
Hey, at least Sammy Watkins is in the playoffs. Unlike Green
He's
Bay.
activated, right? What's he for anytime touchdown? That'd be a nice thing for one, maybe, right? I mean, I don't know. If you want to take a real long shot of something, he's got to be paying pretty good. Sammy Watkins is 9-1 odds.
What's DeMarcus at?
DeMarcus is 5-1. DeMarcus Robinson.
I don't mind him, especially because
That's an interesting part. We'll have to talk about an oddball parlay, Anthony. We'll get. So Noah Fant or Disley, right? And then
I'll keep you posted on Noah Fant. Hopefully they have the inactive.
But I'm fine with Disley, and we have to throw DeMarcus Robinson in there, and then you'll have a couple other crazy ones on that one. All right. So we'll get into that. All right, Brady and the Cowboys.
What do you think?
Dave Grande said, well, he said, man, he goes, just at the end of the day, what the hell? I mean, in 1 year, Rodgers and Brady look just so much worse than what they were. And they do. And I've been on the Buccaneers all year long. My gut instinct tells me the Cowboys. I mean, this is Micah Parsons could be the game breaker in this one, especially if the Buccaneers can't protect Brady. Then he might not have any shot, to be honest. Now, I do like Evans, and you've been on Godwin. He hasn't done anything this year. He just hasn't. I've been the Buccaneers backer. I've been on there. I've been the one guy that said, all right, let's pump the brakes. Let's just give them a chance. Oh, man, if they just screwed me out of all kinds of alt lines or whatever, there's been 2 or 3 times where the Buccaneers are the last leg of my parlay, and I know by the end of the first quarter, I'm not the one. That's what I know. The Cowboys have actually won me a little bit of money, at least. So I'm going to trust that. I love CD Lamb. I love the receiving core. I love me some Tony Pollard. All right. So I think personnel-wise, skill position-wise, leg up on Dallas, and defense, leg up on Dallas. I'm not shocked they win this by a couple scores. What do you think?
I could see Dallas kick the living piss out of them, but
it's Brady.
There's
the Brady factor.
There's this one thing that's making me not wanting to put all my money on Dallas, and yeah, it's that guy that won't ever go away.
What are your best props for this?
I do like Lamb. I do like Godwin. I oddly like Leonard Fournette as well. Why do I feel like Tampa's going to win like 20-17? It just
right.
I have no stats.
Do you think most of these games are? What's your highest scoring game of the weekend? What's your same game parlay green light?
The highest one I still have is Minnesota
And the Giants.
I still
Indoors, that helps out, right?
And I still have that. I think an underrated one, especially gotta have to check on the weather with the Seattle game. This game could be higher scoring than you think. I still think Seattle's going to keep this closer than a lot of people do feel, because I know that 9.5 spread. 49ers are playing at Levi's, Candlestick, whatever you want to name it. I think the Bengals game's going to be the lowest scoring game.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good enough. Okay. Go get a drink. Tell Nephew Dave in 10 to 15 minutes we're all going to do our picks and close the show out.
Sure. I'm gonna go pee and I'm gonna go make my picks.
Tell Nedward to come on over here right now. I want to throw him on.
Come and talk a little bit. I'm not prepared. What?
I mean, we can go over the slate.
I'm not prepared either.
Let's talk politics.
Sit down. I need your prop plays, man.
I don't have prop plays. Today, I don't even know who's playing.
We'll go down the slate. 7 minutes. You give me your first pick of the games. I'll leave you to the court. Sit down now. You grab your beer. You don't have to.
I can hear you.
Talk a little closer to this. That's all. That's fine. All right, Ned. So we have on Nedward, Radford University with me. So this friendship or acquaintances, beyond probably we're better friends in the last 20 years. But now 30 years strong, I've known here Coach Ned. And his football insights are as good as it gets. He wins fantasy football just about every year. He is on top of it. He is the golf hustler for sure. We can get into golf at some other time for sure, Ned, if we really want to. But football, man, talk about teeing up a subject for you. I think it's NFL football, and the stars come to shine here in the NFL. We're just going to go game by game real quick. And you give me your initial thoughts, who wins, and then your best prop pick. Who might be a good rusher, who might be a good receiver, just, or kickers, whatever you got. All right, so San Fran and the Seahawks, 9.5 for San Fran, over under 42.5, familiar opponents. Pete Carroll, born in the San Francisco area, so that's kind of close to his heart. Shanahan, one of the better coaches, but also if you've been following the NFL for the last decade or so, he's that coach who kind of maybe, does something good and then it all goes wrong at the end. What do you see in the San Fran-Seattle game?
It's going to be San Francisco pretty easily. For a prop bet, I like Christian McCaffrey to score 2+ touchdowns. I don't know what that number is. I haven't looked at it. But it's going to be.
That's my job as producer, Ned, is
It's going to be a lot of Christian McCaffrey all the time.
Yeah. So that's a good philosophy. Let's not trust Purdy. We traded for McCaffrey. Let's put the ball in his hands, right?
Yeah, but they're going to put it in his hands, running and throwing. I'd be interested to know what Christian McCaffrey has done over there for
A passing touchdown prop for McCaffrey.
1-1.
Wow, that's got to be in the game special somewhere.
I would touch the number 9.5. Seattle's good enough to keep it close.
McCaffrey plus 360, 2 touchdowns.
I like that.
Yeah.
What's his over under on
You always got to look at the McCaffrey receiving yards. I agree. That's a great little angle there. So his over-under for McCaffrey receiving yards is 35.5. Now, if you think he can get to 60 yards, it's plus 310. 70 yards is plus 460. 80 yards is 7-1 odds.
I know you love the amplifiers. I take the free money over 40, over 45.
Okay.
And I'd play 2 touchdowns for him.
I've heard of both sides in the Jacksonville-San Diego game. All right, now we're missing Mike Williams. That's going to be the key offensive factor. For the Chargers, if Herbert's that transcending quarterback, maybe this is the time he shows it, right?
That's at Jacksonville, right?
It is at Jacksonville, 40 degrees at kickoff, Ned, which is that's not going to matter.
Still Florida. It's a warm 40.
So what do you see with Jacksonville and San Diego? Can there be a lot of points here? 300-yard passes, 2.5 for the Chargers.
I would take the money line in Jacksonville. The Chargers are as talented as anybody in the NFL. But for whatever reason, they're stagnant.
Minnesota style of the AFC a little bit.
You go back to the Phillip Rivers days. They've always been talented. But for whatever reason, injuries, lots of injuries. The Mike Williams situation, he's out. It's the West Coast, the East Coast. Granted, they're playing at night. Jacksonville's hot right now. Jacksonville's young. I mean, I like Jacksonville in that game.
They got the mojo, the house money. They have nothing to lose, right? I mean, that's a dangerous opponent.
You've got 2 star quarterbacks, young star quarterbacks.
Yeah, can Lawrence throw for over 300 yards? I had that in the prop. Pays nice, too, plus 370.
I think it's going to be a little more balanced with ETN.
Right.
And maybe 275 and 2, 250 and 2. From a prop bet scenario, what's Travis Etienne's number?
Travis Etienne, if we look at him, Travis Etienne and we haven't discussed that actually. Excuse me. Plus 440 for 2 touchdowns for Travis Etienne. Minus 125 for the straight up touchdown. If you look at him on the rushing and receiving props, Etienne is over 78.5 rushing. I don't know if I trust that. I know the receiving number is going to be maybe a little bit more intriguing here. 15.5 for receiving yards,
so that's
right?
So Etienne, when he came out of Clemson, was going to be a 3-down back.
Right.
They utilized him a lot at Clemson, catching the ball. But for whatever reason,
they haven't done that yet.
Yeah, but for whatever reason in the Jacksonville offense, it hasn't materialized.
Those plays are in the playbook, though.
That's an easy number. That's 1 3rd and 20 screen catch.
That's one long screen catch.
I like the over and the Etienne receptions for sure. And I like Jacksonville money.
The Sunday 1 o'clock Buffalo Miami. We talked about the nostalgia factor. It just blow out green light for Buffalo here.
What's the number? 14.
13.5.
What's the historical data on double digits?
So I don't know. So in this round, if you're the favorite, you cover 85% of the time. I think.
I don't like it.
Not too bad. 28 degrees, not that windy.
I mean, it's a lot of points. I'd take Buffalo. I think Buffalo's the team to beat. I think Buffalo kind of got screwed. Well, I mean, someone had a heart attack on the field, so let's back that up a little bit. But if everything's just played out, if Buffalo beats Cincinnati, then the road to the Super Bowl goes through Buffalo. That's an enormous boost for Buffalo if they had Kansas City coming through there or Cincinnati coming through there. Now I think there's a neutral site game if Kansas City and Buffalo play, and it's in Atlanta. That favors the Chiefs because it's in a dome, no weather. I think it's Buffalo's year. So, I think Buffalo rolls in this game. James Cook, I'm interested in his lines because I think he's going to start getting a little bit more run.
James Cook is 11.5 for receiving yards,
Over.
and for rushing yards for James Cook is just 39.5 yards. All right, so those are good props. Those are good props.
Split carries with Singletary, but Cook's emerging. And if the game script goes the way I think it is, and Buffalo rolls, Cook's going to get a lot more run. I think it's over in both for James Cook.
All right. Minnesota and the Giants. Minnesota has a lot of offensive talent. I've been on Minnesota all year. I love Justin Jefferson, not as much as Anthony, who wants to stroke his ball sack every 3 seconds to score or do whatever. I think Minnesota may be a little undervalued. I think their offensive talent can come up to show up in this game at home and win by a couple scores. Can the Giants win this game, or can Minnesota actually blow this out?
Yeah, anybody can beat Minnesota. There was a point in the year this year where
they showed
they
it.
were 10-2 or something like that, and they'd only outscored their opponents by 1 point. So they are the true team that plays down to their competition. We're in the playoffs now, so every team's relatively good, or should be. The Giants have weapons. They have Saquon, a beast of a running back. They have a serviceable quarterback. Daniel Jones can beat you with his legs. I think that's where he's most dangerous. They do not have any receivers. If Minnesota shows up, Minnesota should win. It's basically ball control from the Giants versus a very potent offense.
What kind of prop would you look at here?
And obviously, you look to Justin Jefferson. I'm sure his numbers are going to be really, really big.
2 touchdowns, he's over 6-1. Can he get 3 touchdowns at 44-1, although he never finds the end zone?
I mean, he can or no. I would say that. I'm contrarian. I'd like to know kind of like what Adam Thielen's numbers are. They're going to be suppressed. So I'd like to know what Adam Thielen's total catches.
He's come on here the last month or 6 weeks for sure. He's disappearing.
I can see him having 5 or 6 for 60, 5 or 6 for 70 and a touch. The focus is going to be on stopping Jefferson. So just a contrarian view with Adam Thielen, I'd be interested to know what his numbers are.
So Adam Thielen on his receiving yards, 35.5. Straight up. Oh, yeah, that's got some good plays here, everyone. All right, you're learning some new information. And for alternate lines,
How many catches? 4? 3.5?
I don't have the catches. I just have the yards. But I got 60-plus yards at plus 290, 70 plus at plus 410.
I think they're both in play.
Both of those are in play.
I think they're both in play.
No catches. Touchdown score-wise for Thielen, if you want to take him for 2 touchdowns, let's see what we got.
That's going to be a big number.
It's going to be a good number. And it's the right number. While I looked that up, is Hawkinson maybe the best trade of the year? Could it be? Could it pay off to be?
It's a win-win because Detroit.
Thielen plus 1,400, by the way.
That's worth a fire on $10. But the Hawkinson trade's a win-win on both ways. You've got Detroit who's emerging. They're really, really good. The tight end position for them, it's not a huge focus. I think they got a second-round pick back. They're going to be able to build off of that. But Hawkinson is 2 touchdowns for Hawkinson's not out of play. Double-digit catches. Hawkinson's not out of play. I think the Giants are going to stuff the box and try to stop Dalvin Cook. And, I think all of that's in play. I'll leave you with this. And it's Jarrett McKinnon.
Yeah, he's a sneaky player, man. Yeah, he does. Yeah.
You saw last year, it's the same thing.
He scored every year. He does.
Clyde Alaire Edwards was a featured back. He got hurt. And McKinney came in late in the year, and he's doing basically the same thing he's doing right now. it's not out of the question. He scores 2 touchdowns in every playoff game he's in. So I would watch Jarrett McKinnon and follow him.
Doesn't he play for the Chiefs? We'll have to wait for next week.
I know that. Like I said, I'm going to leave you with that.
Yeah.
That's teeing you up.
That's
how these things work, Steve.
Bengals, Ravens, low scoring game. Running back props. I like both the running backs in
Turn
there.
the TV off. The Bengals no more on that.
Cowboys, Buccaneers. Brady's last stand, or the Cowboys march on?
Brady's last hurrah in Tampa. He's going to end up somewhere next year. He's single.
Right.
He's going to play football. So it's the Cowboys. Unless the Cowboys, just bust, which they've been known to do last week.
Every playoff, right?
Last week against the Commanders.
If they don't win it, they combust.
I think I could see, that game's going to, I think I could be a 17-13, 17
Low scoring.
I'd be interested with the under is on that. If it even is at 40.
At 40 and a half. 45 and a half.
That's actually big.
Yeah. So that'd be a good low scoring number for you.
I can see that being under.
Right.
For sure. But, as long as there's no big sixes or anything like that, I think the Cowboys should roll. Not roll, but the Cowboys should handle that pretty easily. They beat them early in the year.
Plus 340 under 35 and a half if you do that. Cowboys and Buccaneers.
And it's minus 110 at 45?
At minus under 35 and a half. Yeah. Plus 340. Minus 110 at 45.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate your insight. Good luck, man.
Hello.
We'll get Nephew Dave in here. And Ned is happily married, unlike Tom Brady. We'll get the man in here. We'll get Nephew Dave in here for his picks. Yeah, man, somewhere. Do you see the man anywhere?
Yeah, he was.
Exciting bar television. CP's is popping off. All right, everyone, get here to CP Shuckers Shore Drive, 3232 Shore Drive, Virginia Beach, Virginia, the United States of America. Happy hours going on. UVA watch party. Good crowd. Lots of fun. So everyone. Seton Hall won, right? Yeah, dude, we are crushing some tickets today. So this is all good karma for our football picks. I'm going to tell you that now. We're already winners for the weekend. We can sit back and lose all our football and still not complain about life, which we will still at the same time. Go ahead and throw in your picks, Dave, and I'm going to try to track down the Ant-Man. Go ahead and give me your best bets, and if you don't see me, keep talking.
All right. Here, live, the round robin from CP Shuckers. We're going to do our final picks and then wrap it up for the day. He was right around here, Steve. I don't know where he went.
He's probably talking to the White House.
All right, so for today, we're going to put in our final picks. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start it off. I have a same-game parlay X. So today we're going to start it off. I have Christian McCaffrey, anytime touchdown scorer, paired with a George Kittle, anytime touchdown scorer. That's going to be at plus 330. So we're getting paid out pretty nicely for that. And then we're going to drop down to the other two picks. So this is the two same games that are going to be combined to make one pick together. That is the same game X, if you are not familiar with that. So to be paired with Christian McCaffrey and the George Kittle pick, we're going to pair that with an Austin Eckler anytime touchdown and a Trevor Lawrence one passing touchdown, which shouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities. And then I'm going to take a couple off of this long parlay I have. I'm not going to go over all of that because it's not all football. But Steve, Ant, call me crazy. I am going to take a shot today with Jacksonville. They are plus 120 on the money line. I think they can get it done. I think it's a good spot for them to keep things kind of, at a minimum here. I did take the 49ers on the money line. Not very good odds there, but it is paired up with some other stuff. So Steve, I think that's about it for me. I have again Jacksonville money line, Niners money line, George Kittle,
and Christian McCaffrey for a touchdown, Austin Eckler for a touchdown, and Trevor Lawrence 1 passing touchdown. There will be some more things to come. We'll get that on the Twitter as things start to file in. Definitely some more action here, but the weekend has started off very well here in the Deep End studio. Uncle Steve has cashed in quite nicely. I myself had a good night last night, so the weekend is off to a good start. As Steve said, we don't really need these football bets, so to speak, but we would sure love them.
Turks and Caicos, baby.
And then you can catch us live from Turks and Caicos. Myself, Steve, and the Ant-Man will be drinking all kinds of island drinks, thanking the teams that put us there. So again, it's been a great time. We got some good picks. There will definitely be more to come, I'm sure, from all of us, and we'll get those on the Twitter to share them with you. Again, we always urge you to think for yourself. We're just here to kind of put some stuff out there that we like, kind of give you maybe a starting point to go off of. If nothing else, a little bit of information to kind of help, sway you one way or the other. So, Ant-Man, you're sitting right next to me. We're gonna pass it off to you and get some picks that you like today.
Best picks for you, Ant-Man.
I'm going with a touchdown scorer in each game. And I've talked about him already. Kenneth Walker for Seattle. Donald Parham for the Chargers. We're going to shift over to Gabe Davis for the Bills. Adam Thielen for the Vikings. Demarcus Robinson for the Ravens. And we're going to end it with Leonard Fournette for that Monday night showdown.
There he is.
And Steve doesn't like it?
No, I like it. He's going to show up.
And
Whenever you try to put the stake in the heart of Leonard Fournette, that's when he's the strongest.
Playoff Lenny.
Playoff Lenny, yeah.
But the only way I look at this is 10 pays 20 grand. So if you guys hit the first 5 legs and your cash out is like, I don't know, let's say it's like 6 grand or something like that. Hedge the living shit out of it. Hedge it. Say, I think Rashad White's going to score. Leonard Fournette's going to score. Cash that out. Hedge it. You don't have to go for the 20 grand, but if you want to let it ride, go for it. That's what we have.
And here's the thing, too. You can always put down 2 tickets, like I've done before, and cash out the one, split your investment in half. Cash out the one and let the other one ride, and you have the best of both worlds.
We're thinking island drinks here, boys.
We need the big
next
hits.
broadcast.
All right, my picks are this. I'm going to do – I got so many, it's not even funny.
Yeah,
We've been winning. All right, we're going to look at Seattle plus 3.5 and under 32.5 in a sloppy, low-scoring game. We're going to look for points in the Chargers-Jacksonville game. I'm going to stretch that up to 56.5. I'm indecisive on the under-over Buffalo. I got plays on both. I can see a super over or I can see a super under. Does Tyreek Hill get the chance to run in a couple scores is the difference there.
I know you. I'm sorry, Steve. Sorry to interrupt you. I know you were mingling and getting a drink, but my buddy Brody, who we had on, he put some pretty good insights. He's an AFC guy, much like yourself. He put some good insights for the under there. He really likes the under.
Buffalo Miami under.
Yeah,
All right, good.
knowing
All right,
those
good.
two teams.
All right, good to hear. I like Minnesota to beat the Giants by multiple scores. I'm going to take on the props Kittle's 70-plus yards receiving. I'm going to take Austin Eckler 2+ touchdowns because he's done it all year long.
There you go.
I'm going to take also as everything refreshes here, Buffalo defense anytime touchdown, 6-1 odds. I'm going to take Justin Jefferson 2 touchdowns, 6-1 odds. Scrolling through anything else I got here. I like Del Grande's angle at the kicker props in the Bengals and the Cowboys Tampa Bay game. Maybe a 4-game parlay with all the kickers involved there. More anytime touchdowns for Tyler Lockett, Nyheim Hines. I'll throw him in there. But my biggest bet is the alternate line of the Chargers and the Vikings. So I think that's going to be the best bet for me there. That's the one I bet earlier, even pre-Mike Williams. So I got a big bet. Chargers minus 9.5, Vikings minus 12.5. and I hate it, to be honest. Nephew Dave. Other props, I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence, 300-plus yards passing. I'll take a chance on Tyreek Hill at plus 110 yards passing at plus 630. This is a shot. This is a dart parlay.
Right.
Not expecting this to win. Minimal investment to make the maximum. Kirk Cousins, 350-plus yards. Mixon, 100-plus yards. And soccer goals aplenty. Brentford, I don't think it's going to get enough goals for me here at the end of the day. I don't think it matters. We've had a nice winning day overall. All right, so that's it, man. We're 3 hours, 10 minutes. We're past 2 p.m. That is it for our live broadcast of the round robin here on the Deep End Broadcasting Network. This is our playoff game, Dave. I would say that this is a success.
Absolutely.
All right, so everyone who's tuned in, even just for a second here or there, we appreciate it. I've learned to know that the views don't count, too. Yeah, that never counts. There's always like 5 or 6 or 7 people tuning in there at least. That sounds promising, right? So thank you guys all for putting up with us. Hopefully you've won some big bets. If you haven't, keep following what we're preaching because you're going to get you there. And in the playoffs, man, we're hoping for some big action this week.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's it, man. I guess we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. I got the outro queued up. I'll go ahead and play that music.
Absolute success, Steve. This has been a lot of fun. We'll have to play.
Nephew Dave, you've done a great job. And for y'all who didn't know, Nephew Dave came up from the get-go and said, hey, man, let me help you out with this. And he's done nothing but take the reins. He has his own hockey show now, too. He has something he put on his resume.
Yeah.
All right,
I
for the
appreciate you
future.
having me on, Steve. This is a lot of fun. And some hopefully better stuff to come after.
Thank you for joining us at our live broadcast. It's the round robin from CP Shuckers in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Come on down to the farm. All right, thank you guys. Good luck on all your bets. Have a good week.
Oh, I played my games many times before, but people